Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
going pretty tired. I've been working hard. Yesterday, I I had I can't remember exactly how it started, but someone posted some bullshit about and maybe it was an archaeologist attacking a certain person who's like a right wing person who talks
Oh,
about he's an anthropologist. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll put a video link that debunks him and explains more what he thinks.
okay.
Because the archaeologist is like, well, I'm not saying, trying to insinuate that he's a racist or anything. Yes, he's fucking racist. I mean, yeah, historians and archaeologists, academics have to be a lot more kinder. And me as a fucking leftist, fuck that, he's a racist.
Right.
Anyway, so this racist, which I will link in the video, Robert something, I can't remember now, but he's trying to like do race science or something. He also makes bullshit ass claims about ties to the Bible and all.
Okay.
But anyways, to begin the basics of the theme, it's kind of like Graham Hancock also. So it's which we're gonna eventually do a video on, and you're gonna have to watch one. I know it's hard. If you don't, we're gonna watch one in the show then because we're going
to because we have to address the claim.
We have to address this because to me, okay, so like archaeologists may not like that he calls them names and says they're hurting him. I don't know, right?
Right.
I'm not an archaeologist, so just so people know, that's not why I give a shit about. I mean, I don't like that he does that because I think archaeologists are relatively cool. And what the fuck? Okay, but and even I can get with the archaeologists about he's not telling the facts, so he's misinforming people, not just. Anyway, so that does bother me too because I also dislike atheism in general, or most of the things. I don't like fucking pseudoscience, pseudo history, pseudo morality, shit that's in religion or anywhere else, political or otherwise. I mean, it doesn't. I don't like that stuff. It's not productive. Just like reminds me. Remember, I read, or maybe you read, but that part that I had about the anarchist talking. It was in 1900 and something, and he was talking about how anarchists should do education, and he said we should just teach the plain truth with no dogma. And I was like, see. Yeah, see, back in 1900s, still the same thing I feel now. Yeah, that is what I would like to do is teach it with no dogma.
Yeah.
That would be, because I don't know, the truth matters, maybe, to me at least, I guess.
Yeah, anyway, I think that's fair.
But another thing that really irritates me that doesn't seem to irritate the archaeologist that much, or maybe it does, but I don't hear him voice it.
Right.
As a philosopher, it really irritates me when someone says, I know something, and then Corey would say, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, hey, you just don't trust me. It's because you think the whole system is great. What the fuck? If I do that, that's some fucked up shit right there.
Right.
That's actually not a good philosophical. If you are in strong grounds philosophically or evidence-wise, I don't know, it should be the same that you have burden of proof and you can just present it. Right. It's over. It's done. I've now... It's not about winning or losing, just so people understand. I don't see it that way. If you don't have facts, there's nothing I have to win. You never started the game.
Right.
That's so this is why, to me, I'll never lose a debate with someone that tells me that value is not valuable or not important.
Yeah.
Never. Because if you show me you have given value to a concept of why that is accurate, true, reasonable. Anyways, I know we're going to do more things on philosophy once I get some of this history stuff the way I want. But so thinking is important, right? So the facts are important. Thinking is important. So it's all these layers of like why I hate the fucking, Graham Hancock. Because and then here's the biggest reason, though, because all those to me personally would have been irritating, but I wouldn't focus on. Who gives a fuck? Dumb fuck saying shit. Oh, fuck, Christians say dumb shit all the time.
Yeah, lots of people say dumb shit.
Let's do other kind of religions, say dumb. In fact, some atheists say dumb shit all the time.
Yep.
Anyway.
Lots of them.
Because they're also ignorant and don't choose to learn and just say shit and don't go check it. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to I wasn't going to go back to the Graham Hancock. So what he really has pissed me off and why I became like, I never even thought about that. He's been around. I didn't even know he had all these books. But I had other leftists and atheists tell me we can't really trust science. Graham Hancock proves that. That is why I felt it is my fucking duty to then, as a lover of truth, in two different communities that I feel it would be great if we only had truth and not dogma, that I need to advocate for not accepting Graham Hancock as credible and to show why he's not. Is my duty to show why he's not just archaeologists or other, because if none of them did it, guess what? I still would do it. If he wasn't famous, I wouldn't care. I would still do it, because what he is saying is removing trust in fucking science. That's not okay.
He's got too many people who believe what he says, and
he's got 4 million followers or whatever, is or 400,000 or whatever. I mean, he's a millionaire and shit. I mean, if you're telling absolute nonsense, so I don't want to make this whole show about him, but so that's also why I try really hard in these kind of shows to present the facts best I can, and then also my ideas, and they're reasonable. No, you know they're reasonable. I never get attacked by archaeologists. That's why.
Yeah, because you follow the evidence, right? Like,
because I present so much evidence that they go,
that's interesting.
We should do research on that.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
it's an interesting perspective after seeing the evidence.
Yeah, they don't go like, what the hell? That's wrong. See, but here's another thing too. It's not just this. I'm not really. I know I'm trying to shut this down, but this goes back to I'm going to bring it back to why recently. So the Graham Hancock says this stuff, right? It affects the environment, right? You also have dumb fucks that are racist. Someone said before, they don't know if Graham Hancock's racist. I think he's just knows he's lying and he's just trying to make money. I mean,
right.
I mean, this is what I feel. Of course, I don't have facts of it, but he says he's learned it. He sounds like he knows, and he looks, and he's got lots of his time because he's rich, so he doesn't work. So he could look. I've looked, and I find he's wrong. By the facts. In fact,
so if he looked, he knows he's wrong.
Right. Really quick too. I'm gonna give it, because I know I fucking hate this. This is why it's so important to me. I want to send you, Corey, a thing right now so you can see why thinking that the ancient North Eurasians, it's in your thing. I'm going to show it to people right now. They'll be looking at it also with us. But just to show, okay. So do you see where it says this red circle, right?
Yep.
That's our DNA. Does our DNA go to the Americas?
It doesn't look like it.
No. What DNA goes to the Americas?
A-N-E?
Well.
Or where? Am I looking at the wrong picture?
You see the green arrow?
Yes.
I hope you're looking at the
Q.
right thing.
Okay, yeah, Q.
Q, right?
Yeah.
Q goes, not R.
Yeah.
Do you know that Q makes up 94% of all male DNA in South America?
Okay.
Does that sound like it was taken over by a race of white people that were our DNA? Because this goes back to, see, our DNA. No, but just looking at the facts, right? Because I hate when the facts absolutely debunk his argument, but the facts of what the DNA did. So we're going back to the picture again, just real quick.
Okay.
So if you know, right in the far right corner in the bottom of the green, do you see there's a little thing? There's Lake Baikal, which we've talked about many times.
Yeah, right. The very important lake.
Very important lake. And I will, just because I'm kind, I'm working on an art right now about that lake. Really quick, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show them, of course, the fixed one, not the, not the half-done version, but you're going to get the half-done version because I'm not done with it.
Okay.
But I just sent it to you. So anyways, this is also trying to help you grasp what's going on. So do you see this picture I sent you?
Yes.
Okay.
Haplogroup Q, haplogroup C.
And I put those there to show you that those two go to the Americas. Haplogroup C, haplogroup Q also, because I can't remember now what percentage, but I don't want to say the number, but it's some percentage above the 20 or 30 or 50. It could be 50. I don't remember. But percentage of Nadane DNA is Q, male, and then the other portion is C. Do you see that C and Q both come around Lake Baikal?
Right. Yeah, they're right there, eh?
Right. So they interacted. That's why also those two groups, maybe in a sense, you could see them as two different clans because they are, in a sense, two different whole like things.
Oh yeah.
But they have a similar religion. Why? There's a religion around Lake Baikal called shamanism. It has all these factors, and it actually goes to both sides of it, both the Asian side and the Europe side, in a sense. So these people are who, as I showed you pictures before, spread shamanism all over the place, right? But as we notice, it's not the same people. C does it. Is C Q? No. Is C white? C is Genghis Khan. I don't know. Last time I looked, most people don't think Genghis Khan was white or a Caucasian, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, this goes back to real quick. So this goes back to why I was irritated. This person said, I ended up making why I was tired. I was saying I was tired. Because some person said, it was a racist, that, the Caucasian race is the leaders of all the world civilizations, and their populations don't match them genetically. Horseshit. I know the genetics.
Yeah, that's just obviously false.
And I just tried to explain it here. This also goes back to Graham Hancock, who says that R1b goes to the Americas.
Right.
We looked at what it was. What went to the Americas, Corey? Let's hear it again.
It was Q. Not R.
Q. And what else? C, which is also not Caucasian.
Yeah.
So now we straightened that out. Siberians North China went DNA because they don't have borders.
Yeah.
We make borders. People have places. Okay, great. Now, so anyways, they go over, right? So, but it makes sense. They're already over there anyways on that side. But you also could have had ARG over there, but it didn't. Right. And if it did, it was minute, I guarantee. And it wasn't ruling nothing. I mean, because
yeah.
And as I showed you, even if they know which way exactly the ancient North Eurasians went. They went over the land bridge because there was still land. They didn't even need boats. So they had no boats. So his boat theory, wrong. No boats. They go over ancient North Eurasians we're talking about, and they become the ancient Bergerians and ancient, I don't know, but there's some other name that they call them. But it's the people in the sense that become the different genealogies of America. Because also along the way, also goes over, not that they went as a group, but also goes over is, because I don't even know that C and Q exactly went over as a group, but I think they did.
Okay.
Because some of the similar things that Q does, so does C. You know what I'm saying? They come from some places, they go over, and they both kind of stay sort of on the coast, but but they also split both of them, split to the Great Lakes and become the mound cultures, because every one of the mound cultures has Nadane C217 DNA. Guess who also does it? People are shocked and awed. The Mayans had it.
Right.
Yeah. You know why? And it's important to understand because they also went down. It's in Colombia with I can't remember the name. Something with a W. But the group down there. But anyways, it's not surprising to me because I already told you, I think that when they came in, the Nadane, and I do think Nadane, or Proto-Nadane, maybe, because this is how. So Q probably goes in by 10,000, or maybe. Could have also been like stuck up in Siberia, and then when C goes through, they went together. Don't know exactly. Yeah. But sometime between certainly 10,000 to 6,000, those two come in. But probably Q comes in first, once again, about not going. Or it might have went so halfway, and then C goes, and then they decide to go together or something. I don't know exactly, but because they do take a lot more research, and I just haven't had time to focus on America's this hardcore.
Right.
But anyway, so they go down, right? And I think that, to me personally, I think that a lot of C stays in like Canada, like in the Pacific coast, and in Alaska from all the way down. And then slowly, by 600, the Navajo are in the Arizona or whatever, or New Mexico or whatever it is now, over there, the Pueblo area. Anyway, so, but obviously, someone before that was already down in Colombia and in the Mayans, because they're in the Mayans. I think it's like 3,000 something, 500 or 800 or so. Nope. And this is another thing too, is the Tlingit language splits at 5,000.
Okay.
So I think it's proto that. So it would be like Nadane or proto-Nadane or something comes in. That's when I say I think they go to the Great Lakes as a proto-Nadane, not the Dane, so people understand, or not the later, more developed, Tlingit, which is the first branch that branches off. And everything in a sense comes after that, all the way down to the last one, 600, years ago, being Navajo or whatever.
Mm.
But Navajo might actually started in the middle somewhere, between Alaska and so just because the people are moving. So but my point is, but all of I think we know for sure that people go down to the California, right? Tons of wars going on, 5,000, and right from there, like maybe even Central California or Southern California is where the Aztec language comes 5,000 years ago. So let's put things together. So violence starts 5,000 years ago. Mass killing. I think it's 1 in 14 people have a wound from being bashed in the head, stabbed, chopped, whatever, shot with an arrow. I mean, it's becoming extremely violent. And also, people from Southern California go all the way down to Peru and start, to me, or are related to the start of the oldest pyramid 5,000 years ago in Peru.
Okay.
So all this to me is going, and then of course, that they went down land, so they went through the Olmecs, the Mayan, the Ismo-Colombians area, which is Panama and like whatever. It's the middle part. It went through there, and then also became the Incas, so Andes. So all those are related. In a sense, they also share all the same. They all have a specific Q, because that's another thing too about DNA. People understand just saying, "Oh, haplogroup Q." Okay, but there's like tons and tons of things, but you got to look at the different stuff. So, anyways, haplogroup Q, I think it's M33. I think it's
okay.
That one is specifically related with the Tlingit. So it relates Mesoamerica, California, Mesoamerica, and South America massively back to the Tlingit. Wow. Does that not prove what I'm trying to say anyways? That it does relate back to them? And so who are the Tlingit? That's the first thing to me that's important, is they have hereditary slavery. Even though they're hunter-gatherers, they have permanent housing, big like Viking halls, long houses, but higher, like bigger, even and higher, more impressive. In a sense, like they're really trying to, more like shock and awe and impressive than, because also the front of them have totem poles with, 3 totem poles and all kinds of like other stuff. They're really cool looking, really. But anyways, so my point is, though, these are supposedly migratory people or whatever, people that move around, but yet they're
building these massive structures.
Right. Also, about 6,000 years ago, everywhere starts getting shell mounds. And they have them before that, like 10, 11, 12,000 probably starts. But I think people that went over, of course, they went over the second people, the Nadane. When they go over, they absolutely had boats.
Right.
In fact, they go up and down the coast. Which is why also they're on Haida Island, and all that relates to later. It's the Haida People's Island. But anyway, this is, of course, like I said, I'm talking pre the exactly everything being the languages where they are. So I think all that's related. And if you look at how the beliefs are, like I already showed you before, a lot of the beliefs are the same. Clan all comes, I think, from them. I don't think exactly that it was like that. I think they had some totemism, but Asia like purified their totemism more in a sense. Right. And I think that's also why then when it goes down like 5,000 years ago to Australia, why there's so much like variation of totemism. It's like a lot compared to some other areas. because I think they were already evolving, and they're also going all Polynesians and stuff. Anyways, going back to the thing. So I know it's all indigenous, and I'm explaining it, showing it to you. I know where it came from because of DNA. I mean, we have this science where there's facts, and so I'm saying, so it's not like, oh, maybe he's right. He is wrong.
Right. Yeah,
done.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. And I'm
There's no
trying
question.
to be the nicest I can to explain it, right? Seriously, I would. It's like, would you debate him on Joe Rogan? No. First off, I won't go on Joe Rogan because I think he's a scumbag, and he has shit scumbag people come on there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be associated with that. If Graham Hancock wants to come on this show and get explained to why he's wrong as fuck, then yeah, he's more than happy to come on and do that.
Yeah.
But because I have no problem understanding this and explaining exactly step by step why you're totally fucking wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not a biased archaeologist trying to do anything, yeah. All my shit is here for free, so it's not like I'm trying to.
Yeah, you're not getting rich off it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, all the bullshit lies and conspiracy. See, instead of, as a good philosopher, just presenting the evidence. Oh, all this straw manning and bull. Yeah, that just shows it's weird arguments. Even if, just like Corey's a skeptic, even as a rationalist, if I start hearing you say dumb shit like that, I'm already assuming your ideas aren't good because you don't think well, or you don't demand that you think well.
Right.
Or you're lying, or you're just, deluded or something. I don't know, but there's all kinds of things people can be. So people can be deluded. I mean, yeah, people are religious, so it proves that.
Yep.
There's just nothing there, but yet they fall in love with nothing. Anyways, so they also shows like why I get mad. So when someone starts saying that they're like a scientist, and that's what Graham Hancock's not even a scientist. This guy's saying he's an anthropologist. That pissed me off. What the fuck? This anthropologist is saying something. So I felt like I needed to say something because. So I'm like, no, absolutely not. Did white people, Caucasians, is what he said, take over the world. So I goes, well, aren't Caucasians though actually the leaders, the most civilizations? Like, no, they're not. No, that is wrong. I don't know what bullshit you're reading, but that is wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, first off, let's start that Caucasian, if you mean like Caucasus Mountains, is what it really comes from. But anything other than that is anti-science, because that's an old, like, debunked theory. It's like, Caucasian was a race, like Mongoloid, like Caucasoid.
Exactly. Nonsense.
So you generally, whenever I hear someone say it, I think ignorant, racist. So I assume one of two things, ignorant or racist.
Yeah. Why
are you using that unless you're ignorant or racist? So now you can't be ignorant. So if you use it, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it's like putting a swastika on your arm and go, well, I'm not really a racist, Yeah.
Right, hey? Yeah.
Anyways. So, and I also hate, like I said, because I feel like this is racist shit. And that's some realm that I feel like I need to be involved in since I'm an anti-fascist, anti-racist.
Right.
And it's worse when he makes it sound true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really irritating. You know what I'm saying? So I said to a historian was saying that he had talked to this person, but he wouldn't debate him. He blocked him. He wouldn't debate him. And I heard a whole bunch of archaeologists try to debate. He blocks him. Yeah, because of course you got the truth. Yeah, that's why he blocks all the freaking people challenging him.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone and challenged him yet, too, but I'm sure I'll get blocked. But so I'm not telling me he's fucking wrong and stop that shit now. But
yeah.
So it's the same thing like Graham Hancock. He thinks, as even on his blogs, he has a thing, well, they said that R1b was the origin of white skin. The allele, yeah, in Siberia, the Asian area, yeah. And then it went to Europe. Yeah, okay. But it actually branches together because there's this thing. I don't know where it is. I like to show you, but it shows like skin color. It shows it was dark, and then this one thing branches off and starts to get lighter, not totally light, and then splits, and both of them become light skin.
Right.
Okay, that's what happened. Duh. And all the other variations, from that. But my so first off, it's not exactly one thing. So white people think like they're white and no one else is, or whatever. It's just, you both branched off the same thing. Asians and whites, believe it or not, branched off the same branch. They're like, well, it's two separate things off the same branch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello. And both in Asia. Yeah, like I said anyways, I was laughing. Like, one's European, one's Asian. Like, they're both Asian. You call one European.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like, no, I know science. You're wrong. Anyway, so then one of my followers who generally likes more true stuff and is, I think, an atheist and all that, he goes, well, what about the Aztecs? They took over the Mayans. It was like a lighter skin taking over a darker skin. I'm like, no, that's wrong on many levels. First off, okay, the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Incas never, as cultures, maybe some of the people might have ran them, but the cultures never interacted.
Right.
Okay? Never happened. I mean, I hate to break that to you, but it never happened. Yeah. So he's already way wrong. Because I'm like, where did he get this? Has to be from these bullshit people. As I'm saying, Graham Hancock just says shit and fucking what? I'm like, okay, that couldn't have happened because they never met each other and did anything.
Right.
No. Anyways, so certainly not war or whatever. Like, no, they did not. It's certainly
right. Like, it wasn't like one group conquered another because they didn't actually meet. So,
and then, anyways, I go, anyways, here's your other problem. All of them are QM33. So QM33 took over QM33, and then as their thing is the whites take the non-whites and they rule them. So QM33 is the leader, takes over the other QM33, and all the subjects are QM33.
So these are all the same peoples.
Yeah, that's all the same. Right? You're wrong again. Thank you for playing. No, anyway, so it's just so that and then I thought, you know what? I need to explain to people. They must not get how some of this stuff is connected. Like I said, it is interesting that they connect to South America and to the Tlingit.
Right.
Yeah, the people that literally came in like later with boats, Graham Hancock, and very good seafarers and very good at building monumental structures. Also, it relates to, I think, the mounds, and then certainly their DNA, as I said, is in all the mound cultures. In fact, even in the Mayans,
right,
for pyramids. So yeah. Anyways, and as I keep sharing with Corey to his, hope enjoyment, is I share pictures of mound stuff because I want at least Corey to get on my level. That when we talk about native dirt mounds, it's not random things of dirt. Right. It's not just, well, they piled it high in a mountain. No, some of these are absolute flat platforms. Right. Or they're pyramids, stepped even. Or they're...
Well, yeah. Like they built buildings on top of them in some cases.
Building, right. And they have like, round structures. Some of them, they make it in shapes of animals. I mean, so I'm just... Because I think it's really cool. One, just wow, and how do we not know all this? Yeah. Also, how fucking bullshit that they have from the beginning of this country. Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, I can't remember who else, investigated the mounds.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson did it scientifically. Ben Franklin, he thought it was white people.
Less so.
Yeah, way less so. Yeah, so he should have took the clue from Thomas Jefferson that did this crazy thing called he did a side swipe and looked all the layers and found bones and things in the different layers and goes, wow, this wasn't all done at one time. Right. This is over generations. So this is definitely the Native Americans. Anyways, and then hearing that people were saying it's white people, even today. I mean, back then it was bad. Right. Ben Franklin's dumb fuck for saying that,
Yeah.
But now, with all the science, people could Google. You can look at my blogs. I know that they're long, but you could look at my blogs and you would be informed that, yeah. And yet, people will go and believe just nonsense. So, I don't know. So I wrote a big blog about all that, and I wasn't even planning to. It's just because it irritated me, racist and shit. Like, fuck, man. Right. And anti-science. And it just also misinformed people. They don't. Now you don't know science. Now you don't even know history. Fuck.
Yeah.
So this is trying to show like why I care. Like you're like, why? What do you care? You're not even an archaeologist. Whatever. And some people try to say, oh, because I'm jealous he's made money. Like, no. So yeah, that's not been my focus. I hate to break your news. I was doing shit for free for 15 fucking years, intentionally for free. And even if it's worth money, even if my time's worth money, I still did it for free. But anyways, that's because I care about humanity. I'm not a fucking capitalist. So
yeah,
I'm an anarchist. I care about, like I said, I'm mutualist. I care about here and now. Here and now's fucked up. You know, wait till the revolution. Fuck, we need to do some shit now. Or people go, what will you do when the revolution happens? Well, fuck, you better know now. Because imagine if it said, you need to get a job, right? You have a kid. You need to get a job. And they're like, well, I don't want to go to school. I'm waiting until I'm an adult. Would you say that's reasonable? If you said, did you get any skill before you become an adult? And they're like, oh, no, I'll wait till after I become an adult. Yeah. Once I leave the house, of course, without a job or one that pays anything above minimum wage, I'm going to be on my own. So that's what I'm just saying. To me, when I hear someone go like, oh, I can't wait till the revolution, you need to just take care now. I mean,
yeah, that's right. We won't have a revolution if we don't do shit now.
Exactly. Right. It's not like some mythical aliens are going to land and revolution will happen. We have to do it. We have to do it by many ways. Educating ourselves, educating others. Isn't education or knowledge power? Yes, it is. And look at how it's wielded against us constantly. Yep. And that's also, like I said, I can't stand these people that wield this anti-knowledge. And like I said, then mistrust of science fucking pisses me off. Yeah. So sorry to spend 30 minutes to fucking bitching, but just saying, that's just why if this stuff matters to me. Here's the truth. Yeah. I mean, now, if someone were to tell you that our DNA goes over to the Americas, what are you going to tell them? I looked at Damien's map. Here you go. In fact, you can look yourself. QDNA. You know who else went? cDNA. Both of them are already in Asia.
Not R. R went the other way.
Went the other way. It's a fact. If you want to say Bill was involved in the building of Göbekli Tepe, now that I agree with. Because it went that way. And it shows up as 50% of the Tellurians or whatever, Tatarians or whatever they're called, in the north. I'm talking about in Turkey and Iran maybe or Iraq.
Okay.
But this area up here, and then the right above. So Göbekli Tepe is like right in the middle. Here's the big one culture, the Tellurians, with 50% R1B. Then the Nufians right under it. Like it's like in the middle of both of them, that's Göbekli Tepe. The two cultures, that's how come they don't 100% know which one did it, because both of them.
Right. It's a little too even.
Really is, there's features from both. The Tellurians make things with square because they did it at 10,000. And the people, the Nufians in Israel or wherever, Palestine, Syria, they were doing it, maybe Lebanon. They were doing it, if I remember right. Anyways, they were doing it like in round structures. So Göbekli Tepe starts with a round structure. So I really think this is a communal thing. Once again, it's not like capitalists. I own this thing here, this hill, and the religious building on top, but no one else can come. Yeah. That's a now thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not this whole ownership. In fact, they don't even have, in Göbekli Tepe related, that I know of, they don't have any aurochs cows that at the time, gigantic fuckers. They didn't even have domesticated ones. They were still doing wild things. So, yeah. But I'm just saying, but that actually is where the DNA went. So I would go, okay. Now, if he says it's R1A did it, I would say you're wrong. Because it was R1B. You see what I'm saying? Because it fucking isn't it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've seen a map that showed R1A going down there. I'm like, what time? Because it certainly didn't go down there in 20,000, 15,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
That I know. Anyways, so that's why it's really irritating when I hear him say stuff. That's why I care about telling the truth. So we're going to learn about China. Anyways, trying to go back to that. But sorry, racist, but we're going to do China. I know. Fucking Asia again. Yeah. No, but anyways, I think it's important because, like I said, look at the stuff that it does. And all the world's pottery practically relates to China. Southern China 20,000 years ago. It's absolutely amazing. Tons of migrations. Real shit. Not Graham Hancock, real shit. Of course, it was NDNA, who also goes over to the Dane, also, by the way, and also the North cultures of Canada. But NDNA, once again, is light skinned, but not Caucasian. They're Asian.
Right. Yeah.
And I think they picked up that allele on the way or got it when they went through the ancient North Eurasian, because they go 9,000 years ago, they go to Lake Baikal again.
Okay.
But also that picture I showed you of Lake Baikal, that has to do with also shamanism. That's big time. I told you around there. But also there's a rock and it looks like natural. It's a natural rock. It literally looks like a dragon guarding the lake. So, and so they've been there for about 30 to 25,000 years ago. So the fact that dragons show up over there in that area, not a shocker. The fact that they have like pig noses. Look at that picture again, Corey. Do you see that dragon? You see how it has kind of a weird nose?
Yep.
Right? Okay. I'm going to have to send you another picture so you can get reference to what I'm talking about, a pig dragon. Because I know you're like, what's a pig dragon? Once you understand the Chinese, this is from 6,000 years ago, pig dragons, and you see that face there, that dragon, you go, well, I don't know. I don't guess anymore. That has to be where the hell it came from.
Right.
Or something like that. I mean, it literally looks the same. Or similar. I should say the same. But, okay, just send it to you. This is China. So just showing it. So that the shaman picture is from Siberia, Lake Baikal. It's actually in the lake itself on a little island that sticks out, So it's also could be a mound of creation. Also very interesting. I can't remember now what South American people. Oh, I can't remember. I was going to say the Aztecs or something, but they say they're from a split mountain. That's where they're from.
Okay.
Literally, the hill, mountain, whatever thing, mound in the water, coming out of the water with the dragon on it, is a split mountain. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, when I heard that, when I was watching stuff, because I believe it or not, I try to watch and read and learn a lot about. I read books on, scholarly books on Native Americans and stuff, because unlike Graham Hancock, I actually want to know the truth,
right,
and then teach the truth. Anyway, so do you see that the other one I sent you?
The newest one, yeah,
yes, which says 6,720 to 4,920.
Yep.
And it has a 5,000-year-old pyramid in this culture.
Yep.
And it's the Hong Sung, and that's the exact area that went to 9,000 years ago, went to Lake Baikal. Do you see all these ring figures? See their faces?
Yeah.
Yeah. That face seems really weird for a dragon.
Right.
Well, you look at the one from Lake Siberia and you go, look at that picture again. Do you see how they could possibly get that idea that that's how a dragon's face should look?
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to show you that, once again, natural things. So also, because I heard this one guy say that the beginning of dragons was in Europe 17,000 years ago. I'm like, I bet you as soon as people showed up in Lake Baikal 30 to 25,000 years ago, from then on, there's been water associated with dragons, because he says, the guy that says that's in 17,000 years ago, France, says it's connected to water. It's snakes connected to water, or kind of a snake-like dragon. I'm like, oh, snake-like dragon. next to water, guarding it even, looking
Right.
like an attack.
Yeah.
You're talking about Lake Baikal, seriously. And his thing was two snakes had their heads chopped off in 2 different caves in France. I'm like, that's a stretch, because people sometimes just, I don't know, kill snakes.
Yep.
So I'm like, could it be a thing? Snakes don't like caves that much. Yeah, but could they go in if it's not too deep? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the maybe how they're feeling, but they don't like it cold. But if it's hot and they're already hot, going in there, it won't freeze them immediately. Anyways, but so it is iffy. But this is not iffy, and this literally looks like the stuff at 6,000 that everyone says is the origin, a sense of shamanism culture for sure in China.
Right.
Yeah, and it relates to these weird pig dragons that aren't weird once you know about that rock. Anyways, just trying to show you how you can look at, I don't know, facts, and you can figure shit out. So let's go to the Bronze Age, because now we're getting to the part of China. We're leaving Damien's prehistory a little bit. We're almost at history. Not there yet, but we're getting close. So go ahead and start, and the first thing you see is a picture, right?
Yep. We got a world map, basically.
Right. That's from 4,000 years ago. And it shows you the different places and if they had agriculture.
Okay.
It tells you what kind of cultures they were. The stuff that's orange are like empires.
Ah, okay.
Sort of like they're more intense or whatever. And then the stuff in green means they have some agriculture stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's just how the different things are breaking down. But anyways, this shows you. So go ahead and read about Bronze Age China.
Sure. The Bronze Age in China began around 2000 BCE, and the earliest excavated ritual bronze vessels dated to around 1600 BCE. Found in tombs, these vessels were made for use in rites performed on an ancestral altar or cast specifically for burial with the dead. Only Chinese kings and high-ranking nobility could afford such expensive and labor-intensive artifacts, which required a knowledge of mining, smelting, metallurgy, and casting to execute. From
Shang. So, and what we would say is that's all labor. They're stealing the labors of the workers that are doing smelting and the mining, right? Somebody's getting out of the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, like it probably wasn't the kings and high-ranking nobility who like actually did the work. No.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, to me, that this thought that the stuff, like waits until capitalism to turn shit. Oh no.
Right.
No. No. At the beginning of this understanding of mine and not yours ever, and not sharing, I think is the end of fucking good humanity, and the beginning of some shit capitalism mindsets.
From Shang Dynasty, 1600 to 1046 BCE.
By the way, they consider everything after that, in a sense, kind of like history, because they have writing.
Okay.
That doesn't mean, as we've already shown in all the stuff we've explained before, it doesn't take writing to know if you have other sciences to figure out stuff.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. Records comprised of some 200,000 inscriptions on bone and turtle shells. We know that Chinese ancestors were propitiated with elaborate rites, feasts, and sacrifices. If ancestors were displeased with the activities of their descendants or the rituals offered them, they might fail to act on their progeny's behalf, or even cause their descendants harm. This could come in the form of poor harvests, drought, or famine. The Chinese believed in a complex world of spirits, which comprised of a multitude of nature deities, royal ancestors, and others who controlled important earthly phenomena such as weather, harvests, births, deaths, and military campaigns. Now, Bronze Age Asia agropastoralism. For many decades, scholars have made superficial reference to Central Asia as the pastoral realm, or alternatively, the nomadic world, in what researchers have come to call the Central Asian Void, a 5,000-year span that was neglected in studies of the origins of agriculture. Foothill
And
regions.
why? Hold on a second. And why is that? It can't possibly because of racism. And also, what I told you is even just like it's so funny. Well, people are like, "Oh, I know a lot about archaeology." I'm like, "Yeah, this in China." Like, "Oh, I don't know anything about Asia."
Right.
Oh, so half the world, no big deal. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, that sounds fucking racist to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
it's probably
certainly
not good.
ethnocentric, if not racist.
Yeah, that's right.
Only my culture or my But that's also why Damien knows a fuck ton, because Damien doesn't have borders. Damien sees world, us,
Right. Foothill regions and glacial melt streams supported Bronze Age agropastoralists who developed complex east-west trade routes between Central Asia and China that introduced wheat and barley to China and spread millet across Central Asia. Sima turbino phenomenon.
Right, now this is real important. I'm going to real quick, because I think that there's art in this coming up, but if not, I'm going to show you real quick just so you can see.
Okay.
And of course, people will also be seeing it too. But because to get an idea how it's related, because it's not I told you, I think I told you before, this culture goes from basically Korea all the way to Finland.
Right.
A similar kind of culture and spread similar kind of religion stuff. So their pottery is kind of similar. Everything, Yeah, well, because it's related. That's why it's similar. But that's also why I told you. And once again, it's not the great Caucasian race. Sorry.
Yeah.
Racist. Anyways, so now you can see the picture.
Yes. Haplogroup N from China.
Right. See the red arrow jumps to Lake Baikal, and then from there it stays. Right. It gets there at 9,300 years ago. But it doesn't go nowhere.
Right.
And then 5,000 years ago, see, it jumps. Boom. I think also, I didn't show here, but I think it goes up to where it says N1C up there at the top. I didn't show any arrows going up there because I don't know. I have to look exactly when it goes up there.
Okay.
Maybe it's 4,000 or something. I don't know, but 4,500. But anyways, it goes up there also. And then here's the thing I wanted to show you too, is it's going both ways. In other words, when it leaves, because see N1C, that DNA that goes all the way to Sammy, that is everything in between that is the Eucralic language.
Right.
So the Eucralic language leaves, it comes from China, right? From that area we just looked at, right? With the pyramid and the pig dragons, right? That exact area is that red dot on there. It also, that's what the languages go down to that island, which is Japan, through Korea, which is that long peninsula that almost touches Japan.
Right.
But anyways, but you can see why that would happen. Look how close they are to the red dot. Very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, and then if you go just east, from that red dot, if you would, go towards that island that looks like a bullhead, or the top part, that island itself is the NU people who have ancient North Eurasian DNA, also have DNA that match and religion that is similar to the Dane and people of the Americas, especially on the Pacific coast. And but right before it, this area, in a sense, all up here is considered the Amur River region. And to me, the Amur River region, which basically connects to this circle, and basically I consider it in a sense where I showed you for cDNA. Anything in a sense east till you go to the ocean, in a sense east of Lake Baikal, is the Amur region relatively.
Okay.
That region, and then the other side, like where it says pink and it says Jensen.
Yep.
Or Yeniseian, maybe
yeah.
All right, I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I'm saying those two places. So basically, just from the large circle around Lake Baikal, almost all that is where shamanism and all the religions of the world, paganism ideas, in a sense, come from. That whole big area right there, and that goes south all the way down to New Zealand. goes over to the Americas, all the way down Argentina, whatever the isthmus, whatever thing, the whole area. It goes all over, even down into Africa, because R1b V88 goes into Africa about 8,000 years ago. And 8,000 years ago, the Central Africa gets its deity, its creator deity, first time. Yeah, when R1b showed up. See, now those kind of things I am willing to entertain as reasonable. Graham Hancock, R1b, going places it doesn't, saying it was seafaring. They were on horses. They were not like seafarers.
Right.
Where do you see that? Maybe the ones that went over to England and stuff, but that's not all of them. Very, very few, DNA strands broke off and did that, and none of them are going the other way. Anyways, Graham Hancock's theory is wrong. I already showed you with the DNA and what the arrows are doing. It's not happening. Yeah. These aren't guesses. That's all I'm trying to say is the archaeologists will go, well, we don't know. We can just say, to us, his stuff is not right or whatever. Like, I know he's wrong. Unless DNA changes, because I'm willing to, as soon as facts change, like before, they used to say that millet went to the Europe 7,000 years ago to the Balkans. And that's when a big bird shows up out of nowhere. Like, and their archaeologists are like, what the hell is this? And I think it relates to the Siberian belief of the big bird. And I used to think that it went over there, maybe within DNA or with our DNA, because that's possible, or it went over with another DNA. Well, I think it's C4, which relates to the Tuscan of, in a sense, where that red dot is just a little more like, I don't know, northeast or whatever, a little bit east. That's where they come from, and that's where the word itself, shamanism, literally comes from. That tribe only. Nobody else everybody all called everything something different, but the word actually literally comes from there. So that there's C4. C4 shows up in Ukraine about 7,000 something years ago. Well, so I go, well, since they have all this shamanism, well, great. Now that helps me see that because I'm like, it went there. And before I thought it went there with millet. That made sense.
Okay.
Right? It made sense. It would have traveled with millet. But now I know it didn't travel with millet, but that doesn't mean it didn't travel.
No,
So, and I know the DNA is there. So I'm like, okay. And it's in the culture that they think is completely the Dorset or the Ness rivers, whatever. There's this culture up there, I think it's Ukraine. And that's the one that, in a sense, they think maybe was already speaking Proto-Indo-European.
Okay.
Or it certainly was Caucasian looking, And here's a crazy thought. Literally, Siberians with, which is interesting too, Native American DNA, right? This is a connection. Goes over into the Cossack Mountains. So once again, just to clarify, Caucasians have Native American DNA.
Yeah.
So, and Asian DNA, which actually kind of the same thing in the long run. But anyways, but I'm just throwing it out there that this pure race shit, like, I'm a pure Caucasian.
Nonsense, yeah.
There's literally not such a thing. But okay.
Yeah.
You can have fantasies, I guess. Anyways, so, but just to go back to what Caucasian, right? So it is true, though, that the Caucasian people of the Caucasian Mountains, which is the Matlock culture in a sense, they do, or I think they're called Mountain Yama or some other thing. But anyways, the ones that are real close to the mountains, those people then Caucasians, actual Caucasians near the Caucasus Mountains, they go over and relate to these cultures, say in Ukraine. They're trading with them. So also them having a similar language or a similar, because the Kurgans start in the Caucasus Mountains.
Okay.
So the Kurgan culture spreads over to Ukraine. They think it almost comes out of there. Like, well, the oldest ones are in the Caucasus Mountains, so how the fuck can that be? Because I had this thing called fucking actual truth and science and history facts and facts. that says that's not true. But anyways, so but it does look like that most of the Indo-European language come out of Ukraine or somewhere over there. So that's true. The Pontic steppe.
Okay.
That is kind of true. Okay. That is after 5,000, but that's not the origin of them.
Right.
They're probably origin in, to me, Eastern Iran, Southern Caucasus Mountains, and Eastern Turkey. Somewhere around that area right there is where I think, and that's even science is starting to conclude,
right,
with two different articles almost zeroing in the same spot near Turkey, and 9,000 to 8,000 years ago, is when the Indo-European languages. Well, 9,000 years ago, ancient North Eurasians show up in Iran.
Okay.
And pottery is 9,000 years ago, right next to Iran.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and pottery had already got to Siberia 14,000 years ago. And when they left, they took it with them. So this means, we'll help people out. When they were at 22,000 and left with our DNA, did they have pottery, Corey?
They did not.
They did not, Graham Hancock. Is it possible? No. No, it is fucking not.
They did not have pottery.
Reasons. First off, pottery starts 20,000 years ago, not 22. 20,000, right. It's southern fucking China.
Yeah.
Okay? It does not get to Siberia until 14,000 at the earliest.
Yeah.
So, if somebody left 22,000 years ago from fucking Lake Baikal, they didn't have pottery. So they're not advanced. So going back to his advanced, well, ancient North Eurasians are advanced. Some of them were. To some extent.
Yeah.
Compared to what exactly? If you mean that because he talks about pottery, they didn't have pottery. So let's clear that shit out. It's certainly, well, if you mean the ones that by 15,000, because that's the last, from 15,000 to 24 is considered the culture that's there, right? After that, 14,000 years ago, Asian DNA takes over, I think it's 75% or 80% or 90, maybe 75%, it's 70. Okay. Anyways, humongous. So the great white race was taken over by N. So R, which people want to say is a Caucasian eventually. Of course, they don't become Caucasians till 16 or 18.
Right.
So when they left at 22, they weren't Caucasian.
Right.
Crazy. But yeah, facts matter. But anyway, so when they left, they were not white people. So to think that somehow when they left, somehow DNA, remember this, even if, as Graham Hancock likes to think, that ones that were there were white, but they weren't. They weren't white until they went 100 miles west and a little bit north, but went west, and then at 16 to 18, somebody turned white.
Okay.
Once again, it wasn't like an explosion and everyone just immediately became white, right?
Yeah, because that's not how things work, actually.
Well, just because sometimes I just think things are just logical. You don't even have to bring that up. But then I talk to people and I realize I need to bring things up.
I guess,
Explain how it's not logical. So anyways, so just try to say when they say it could be possible, it can't. You see the way I keep explaining why it can't be possible?
Yeah.
So his Graham, I'm not trying to quote him. So I don't care about him enough because he just irritates me. But his beliefs are relatively that an ancient culture, just summing up, but I probably should look at it. But what he says, but so I hate him. Don't hate me reading about him. Like you don't want to watch his video, right?
Not really.
I need to, so then you'll grasp what I'm saying, and so we can have a conversation about it. But anyways, but once I'm trying to show you, once you actually track the facts, they do not support at all.
Right.
Because his thing is they're ancient, like 24 to 20,000 or whatever, 22 or something, and they have pottery and they have, know how to build pyramids and like there's, I can't remember all, or super advanced. And he doesn't know all the or whatever, They're not. I mean, they are cool. I mean, so I'm not trying to dog on. They're cool, but the way they start talking about and pottery, fuck no. And so, anyway, but more left because NDNA leaves Lake Balka and gets to Europe by 10,000 to 8,000, like one of the N1A, I think, or something. N1A1 or something. Anyways, but it's not a big deal. It moves, I think, with it, and there's a lot more of it than there is. And then eventually R becomes Eastern hunter-gatherers, who takes over, and there's, I think, maybe no more N. And then, or maybe they go to Sami, or, they try to escape or whatever. And then more N comes 4,500, in a sense, takes over, kills, whatever, the white people. Sorry, white people. So I'm just the bigots, the Caucasians. So the Caucasians were all badass. They killed the first N, maybe, or I don't know, but so I'm not claiming to know that exactly, but it's certainly overpopulated. Let's say because I've heard before. I think, that whole area was all Eastern hunter-gatherers, which was all R1A probably, and maybe R1B2, but probably pretty much R1A. Shitloads R1A from Siberia all the way to Europe, in a sense, at least Eastern Europe, I should say, right? It's affecting, and they have all these shaman beliefs from Lake Baikal,
right?
Like everybody does. So, but they are right. They're the Caucasians, the Nordic. Okay, so NDNA comes and goes, fuck you, and just fucking kills shitloads of them. Becomes, I think NDNA, I don't remember now, but it's like maybe say 75% or 80%. They just, maybe more than that, just almost decimated, or all of them were scared. White people were scared, and they all ran from the Asians into Lower Europe. It's also, I don't, because I haven't done research to know exactly what they did exactly, but anyways, my point though I'm trying to say is they overpopulated the area. Even Germany gets ceramic drums from China, or that relate to China. Okay, so yeah. So the oldest drum in Germany was a style either flat out created by an Asian or was inspired by an Asian.
Right.
It just came from China. Okay. Then the reason why that's important, 4,500, because what we're talking about is 4,000. And I told you there's the culture you're reading right now that I tried to show you the picture of. Now we'll look at the picture again. So on the picture again, now not the stuff I showed you before, but look at how 5,000 years ago in the Finns, see it says NDNA is 60% among the Finns.
Yep.
In this culture. So they're taking over. Because before that whole area where it says comb culture, that would have been our DNA. Is not our DNA afterwards. 60%. Right. So they went stomping through there. The non-Caucasians, let's put it that way. Yeah. Anyways, and I don't keep saying this stuff because I really give a shit about this, but it's to show the bigots they're wrong. Like whites have always been the conqueror. No, that's wrong. Yeah. Anyways, so the cultures, the comb ceramic culture, see that there? That actually comes from China.
Right.
That culture. So, the red arrows also try to show that, but it comes from China. So, and it goes into Finland and everything. Anyways, and then goes and influences Germany because it's not that far, and eventually gets to Germany. And of course, it goes to Sami along with the other N goes to Sami, which is the N1C up in the north. And that one actually is related to the Sami's language. Anyways. Okay. So the comb culture, and then see where it says right below it, that orange thing, it says Sima Tibetan.
Yep.
That is, and it see how it's like real close to Lake Baikal? That's pretty much where it starts. It's somewhere near Lake Baikal.
Oh, okay.
And they may even spoke Yahinsian languages. It's possible. Or they might have spoke Proto-Turk or something, or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, this culture actually goes, in a sense, it doesn't show here the orange, but it actually influences all the way to the red area. So really, it's Finland, like I said, almost all the way to North Korea.
Right.
And what's interesting too is that area right there. If you draw a line from that to the other area, it's the steppe, which explains why they can do that, why they can go freely all the way across like that.
Yeah.
And influence ideas very fastly. Just to give you a perspective of the kind of culture we're doing and how it relates to other cultures. And see the one in yellow that's right below the orange?
Yep.
That's Caucasians. But as you see, they're kind of getting almost strangleholded in a sense by the other culture.
Yeah.
So anyways, just trying to and these are facts. I mean, I hate to break the news to you, but so let's go back to you reading now. I just want you to get a grasp of the culture we're talking about and how it relates to other cultures in the area, or at least how I could best explain it.
Okay. All right. So now we're on the Cima-Torino phenomenon.
Right, which is the orange thing I showed you on that map.
Right.
But I'm trying to explain to you, it's actually even more influential than that map is exactly explaining. I tried to help you understand.
Okay.
Super important because, like I said, vast area becomes the same religion in a sense. And that's why, to help understand, like, how come all these religions are similar? Well, first off, the original dispersal. There's more than one dispersal in a sense. There's a dispersal, let's say 24 to 20, to 15,000 or something. Then there's another dispersal from 15,000 to like 10,000. Then there's another dispersal, this one, in a sense, which is like Bronze Age, 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. Everything becomes similar.
Okay.
And this is why. To try to help everyone understand. Religion keeps evolving. And this is one of the things that made everything almost similar. And like, why does all religion is similar? It's just because people try to explain it like, well, everybody just, thinks similars and there's different experience. I'm like, no, it's because it was spread around. And this is what we're explaining.
Right.
Not magic. Just culture.
Yeah. The Altai Mountains in what is now southern Russia and central Mongolia have been identified as the point of origin of a cultural enigma termed the Cima-Torino phenomenon. It is conjectured that changes in climate in this region around 2000 BCE and the ensuing ecological, economic, and political changes triggered a rapid and massive migration westward into northeast Europe, eastward into China, and southward into Vietnam and Thailand, across a frontier of some 4,000 miles. This migration took place...
Pause for a second. Do you see how that backs up what I say and doesn't back up Grand Hancock? What I say sounds crazy, right? 4,000 miles? What the fuck? And then you read the Wikipedia page. Oh, yeah, right. 4,000 miles.
It just says it, yeah.
Yeah. So when Damien, that's all I was just trying to show you, when Damien says stuff, even though if you think, wow, it must be outlandish, well, it's the facts. So,
yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. His stuff, he's not supported by anything. Like, well, because there's pyramids. I'm like, yeah, I can explain how they're there and why, where they came from, what they mean, and all the others in religion.
You can't just say the word pyramids and expect it to mean something.
Like, yeah, so mounds are cool too, and the pyramids I don't actually see so special. I see them as like a mound that was built with rocks instead of dirt in a sense. I mean, I'm not as impressed as I guess as other people. It's cool.
Yep.
But I never had like a whole bunch of like
it isn't as they say in like so many people still say, it isn't impossible to build with today's technology.
It's not even impossible to build with ancient technology, and they proved it.
That's what they did. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But see, if you only, as you see, do I only teach when I'm trying to explain how things are related? I just don't only teach the artifact and then not the culture and the language and the DNA and the religion. You see what I'm saying? When you do all that, then you actually know everything. Then you have an idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so this migration took place in just 5 to 6 generations. See, this is it says just 5 to 6 generations, but this is, important, right? Like it's 5 to 6 generations. It's not.
But also,
a week.
I think, oh, so you mean science knows facts? So
yeah,
you can trust Graham Hancock that says science is wrong, or trust the facts. It's not even a challenge to me. I'm like, I'm gonna stick with facts first. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For sure.
They're gonna get picked first.
So the migration took place in just 5 to 6 generations and led to peoples from Finland in the west to Thailand in the east, employing the same metalworking technology and, in some areas, horse breeding and riding. It is further conjectured that the same migrations spread the Uralic group of languages across Europe and Asia.
Pause for a second. So, isn't that what I just kind of explained also?
Yep, that's right.
Don't you love that, like, the facts actually back up what my art and my ideas explain?
Yeah, that's right.
That's all I was trying to say is when they're offering these things, they go, "Oh, this is cool. I couldn't do it." That doesn't mean anything. I couldn't fucking hunt for things. I see people, bushmen, right? No clothes on, just a little loincloth in a large stick. Not even like a sharpened one.
Right.
like almost more like a whip almost, but in a sense, but just a long thin stick. And just sit there, and a lion is right there eating something, right, alive, and they're like hitting on the ground with no. And then the lion leaves, pissed off, knocks dirt on it, and leaves. And they go over there, and then the anthropologist I told you before, I was amazed, is like, "Wow, you're gonna take this, food? Oh no, we're just gonna take one leg." So why are you gonna do that? Because then we can come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it blew my mind. I mean, that fucking blew my mind. I'm like, well, of course that makes sense. Logical as fuck.
Yep.
If we take a lot, we probably can't eat it and it'll rot. And we can never steal from that lion again because he knows we're going to take all his food and he will kill us. Yep. But if he thinks that, these people are just annoying.
Yeah, that's right.
Then he learns they're annoying. Oh, if I just leave and come back, they leave me food. I'm good.
There might be a lesson about overconsumption there. I don't know. Maybe.
I thought it was absolutely awesome because he's like, why isn't the lion attacking you? Oh, because he knows that we're not a threat.
Yeah. He doesn't feel endangered.
but it just reminded me like how we need to think about nature, man. We need to. Yeah. So this goes back to I don't think that everything, especially magical beliefs, people have that are indigenous, even in some acknowledged culture or something, doesn't mean they don't have stuff to teach us. They have a lot to teach. That's all my point I'm trying to say.
For sure.
Even if it's not exactly about science. Yeah. There's still stuff that even maybe it is scientific and they just explain it a different way than our science sense. But
yeah,
some stuff can be absolutely, I'm not saying that. But my point is, even if it's not like in other words, to me, just because something isn't science doesn't mean it has no value.
Right.
Lord of the Rings was really cool. A lot of people felt happy watching it.
Yep.
And life sucks. When we can have a little happiness, that I'm fucking like, yeah. Like,
yep. That's right.
What that should actually make us more happy to other people being happy. There's something wrong with us that we get selfish and only want our happiness and not others. Like, what kind of sick person's like, no, I got this pizza, yeah, but I'm just gonna eat it all. If there's crust left, maybe somebody can get it. I mean,
yeah,
you wouldn't even want to be friends with a person like that.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but yet we allow a complete society that does that and worse. Like,
it's been actively encouraged for however long. Yeah.
Like Biden. Well, I'm a proud capitalist. How the fuck could you be?
Yeah, you can't be. Well, I mean, you can be, but you're wrong.
that sounds like neoliberal horseshit to me.
Yeah, that's right.
It sounds like Joe Biden, the conservative.
Yep. 100%.
So, speaking of which, I told you I don't always say things about Democrats, but sometimes when people say fucked up shit, I have to say shit. And I always hear other leftists say blue MAGA. I don't really think like that. I think that's campism. I mean, I think that MAGA, because they call themselves MAGA, but I will say, the first, not probably first, but a time when I think that term maybe applies. I think maybe that could be the issue too. Is, to me, they're applying it too often.
Yeah, that could definitely be
a global label instead of a issue label. But Jeff Fetterman's, I'm not even sure what the hell his name is, because I don't.
Sounds familiar.
Or something. He's like
something like that.
Minnesota, maybe guy or something had a stroke, or I don't really care much about that shit. Those people, but to know, like, their names or whatever,
right?
Like, whatever you guys, I listen like, oh fuck, but he said that you can't criticize Biden anymore. That's it. You either just support him or you're a MAGA, go get your hat or whatever. Some bullshit.
Fuck off then. Like, go fuck off then.
And I was like, okay, I guess there could be some people that are blue MAGA. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be shown to me, but yeah. So I was like, because I was like, even someone who's a liberal, don't you guys like democracy? I mean, you literally tell me you like that, and we're going to have to save it.
Yeah.
You know that telling people they do not have a voice and no right to criticize is extremely undemocratic.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's it's counter to the exact thing that everybody said when Joe Biden was elected. They said, "Oh, we're not like the Republicans. We are allowed to criticize our leader. We're allowed to try to push him to do better things." And then as time goes on, you're less and less allowed to criticize him. Oh, well, you can't criticize him. Otherwise, then you're just a Republican. Oh, you can't say that. That's just what Republicans say. No.
So I'm going to say that, once again, I do like direct democracy, and that offended me. When he said that, I went, okay, blue MAGA. All right. For that statement, for sure. I don't know everything that dude says, but that right there is fucked up.
Yeah, I think that there's some value to the idea of the blue MAGA, because there's like the dyed in the wool, never criticize, and there's the people that are like, they're almost in denial about the political realities of the United States because they've picked their team and that's it. And that, in that sense, they're the same as the Trumpers, right?
Yeah. And well, I know there's some that feel like they have no choice. I mean, like, I'm going to vote Democrat.
I think that most people
Florida
feel that
because, fuck, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
The fuck? I need to fucking hope for something, at least not terrorist-like.
Yeah, I think that most people
and so much homosexuality and fuck our fucking for black people fucking saying they can't even mention slavery in the fucking history books and shit, or saying it had to people that were slaves got benefited by slavery.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, and abortion and every other fucking so that's like I told you before. That doesn't mean I like Democrats,
right?
As politicians. Fuck no.
Yeah,
I don't even like the fucking what they call progressives. I just see the progressives as moderates.
Right.
I mean, to me,
they're barely.
They're so far left. I'm like, they're literally a moderate.
Yeah, that's right. They're barely left.
Fuck. I barely can get excited for Bernie Sanders. Barely.
That's right.
A little, because it's just a little better than the shit that we usually get.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? It's not like what I want. Like, well, wouldn't Bernie just be perfect? Perfect. No.
Better
than this shit? Yes.
And I mean, I guess it's the trouble is that the party establishment, they don't even want to go as far as Bernie, right? Like they don't even want to go that far.
They feel it's toxic. Just like I always feel like, it's interesting to me. Do you know who the liberals always pander to? Always. They pander to the conservatives. Always.
Yeah.
Always. What they do with the progressives is they get mad. How dare you?
Yep.
You know?
Yep. You're what's tearing apart the party. You're the
Right.
reason that Republicans get into power. It's your fault we lost.
But when it comes to conservatives, who are the bad people, they go, "Oh, would you please try to vote us?" And in fact, we'll make our border really fucked up for you.
Yeah,
whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't tell progressives, whatever you want, whatever the progressives want. So I'm just saying, they literally constantly, every cycle, just pander, ratchet to the right, the right. What's the right want? That's why they wanted Joe Biden, because everyone felt like he could work with Republicans because he's a fucking conservative. That's why.
They were so afraid of Bernie, and they were even like, and so in between Biden and Bernie, there was Elizabeth Warren,
who still would have been better than Biden.
Would have been better than Biden, but but wasn't Bernie, but still too far to the left. Too far to the left.
But that's what I'm saying. So the truth is, they say that they're liberals, but most of them are neoliberals.
Yeah,
I mean, they're really conservatives that call themselves liberals and have a few liberal values.
Yeah,
that's
because the project
is basically a conservative. I mean, to me, actually,
it's because the project.
All the Democrats are conservatives to me, actually. I mean, if you really want me to.
That's right.
To know my opinion.
Right.
I'm taking their talk is all I was trying to say. Because yes, to me, they're all on the blue circle or whatever the on the political map. They're all on the high, the north, and the right. So they're rightists. All of them. Bernie Sanders, I think, just barely gets out of the
kind of near the middle. Yeah.
Well, he is in the middle, but it's just, I think, maybe to the left of that. So it's just barely.
Yeah. Because in general, the whole project is the maintenance of capitalism and the promotion of profit, right? Like
Right. And so that's also why, how could you ever think that I could be happy, even if I voted for Biden? He's a capitalist. Yeah. How could I ever say, well, he's perfect? Or like, you just need to accept that he's just great and perfect. I'm like,
no.
Give me a break. Anyways, let's go back to the show.
Sure.
But we're talking about, I think it relates, though, in a sense, capitalism, because when the states take over, which all this is related in religion, state, everything, 4,000 years ago, everything after 4,000 becomes, in a sense, the history of China. A lot of people, when they say history of China, they don't think like Damien. They think 4,000 and down. So a lot of times, even when I say, 9,000, that's not even China. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
about? It's the same
about?
Area. Like, you're just picking modern nations to believe in instead of.
Oh my God. So you don't think anything was there until nation states?
Right. Yeah.
But, the world does think that way. They think everyone's barbaric savages, and the nation states came and we all became better, which I already showed you before, that they proved that actually things were bad. It's like it was a humongous drop in population down to 1 to 14, or 17, whatever, women to ratio to men, meaning that they're killing or with something a whole bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And only or hoarding the women somehow. Anyways, but that was bad, right? But then it says after states took over, it got even worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because now they have wars, like intentional fighting to do it, not just clans sort of, but once in a while getting pissed or whatever, wanting land. No, now it's actual things that are saying empire, we're going to take over them and then subjugate them.
Yeah.
And make them slaves and then cut off their genitals and rape their women. And like just fucking absolute horror,
Yeah.
Right. So that's why when an anarchist thinks of states, they don't think, oh, we're so much better now. Think, that's when things got really fucked.
Yeah.
So let's read about it.
All right. So the same migration spread the Uralic group of languages across Europe and Asia. Some 39 languages of this group are still extant, including Hungarian, Finnish, and Estonian. However, recent genetic testings of sites in South Siberia and Kazakhstan in the Andronovo horizon would rather support a spreading of the bronze technology via Indo-European migrations eastwards, as this technology was well known for quite a while in Western regions. In China, the earliest bronze artifacts have been found in the Mayayo culture Mayayo culture site between 3100 and 2700 BCE. The term Bronze Age has been transferred to the archaeology of China from that of Western Eurasia, and there is no consensus or universally used convention delimiting the Bronze Age in the context of Chinese prehistory. By convention, the early Bronze Age in China is sometimes taken as equivalent to the Shang Dynasty period, 16th to 11th centuries BCE, and the later Bronze Age as equivalent to the Zhou Dynasty period, 11th to 3rd centuries BCE or BC. From the 5th century, also dubbed Iron Age, although there is an argument to be made that the Bronze Age proper never ended in China, as there is no recognizable transition to an Iron Age. Significantly, together with the jade art that precedes it, bronze was seen as a fine material for ritual art when compared with iron or stone. Bronze metallurgy in China originated in what is referred to as the Neolithic period, which
and that supposes Iritu, right? But that supposes the Z Empire, which is a mythical, or they say could be half real, or maybe something empire before the Shang Dynasty, but there's no writing. So so like I was saying too, that, so 4,000 years ago, we're talking about QDNA earlier,
right?
4,000 years ago, I think it's, maybe we might be reading it also, but I think it's China, Japan, and Korea all get QDNA from the north, as we already showed where Q comes from.
Yeah,
from Siberia, and that's also where the Yinsian languages are, and that's also why it's interesting that Proto-Yinsen gives the name for the Mongolian deity, meaning the Mongolian borrowed the word from Yinsen.
Oh, interesting.
And Mongolian shamanism and Yinsen are almost identical.
Huh.
And the Yinsen is first. So I don't know, Corey, if the one is first and the other one copies the name for their deity from that other culture, then it's obviously that it was given to them by Siberia. So Siberia Yinsen language, I think, so it gives it to Mongolians, and then I think by way of that, it gives it to China.
Okay.
So, but the Yinsen languages, I think, is 7,000 to 8,000 years old. And remember, not that 9,300, China did go up there to Lake Baikal.
Right.
So even though they didn't take over Q in a sense, or maybe did take over some Q, but I mean, the majority of them, the Yinsen, were still there later. So, I mean, so that Q, right, didn't get totally taken over. But so then 4,000 years ago, it comes down and becomes one of the, in a sense, father DNAs of China, North Korea, and Japan. Something like that. So in that DNA, in a sense, becomes later in the hand, because 4,000 years ago is when, about the time that 4,300 or something, is when it went into hand DNA. And hand DNA right now currently is the largest ethnic population, I think, in the world. So, but and we talked about it before, remember, about how they their origins comes from shamanism. And I showed you that even now the people in North India and I think Thailand or something, North Thailand, that they are DNA related to this and religion related to this, because they do poly or something like that, which means sun moon religion, and it's shamanistic, animistic, totemistic, like I always say. But they actually say that's what it is. I'm like, yeah, of course. And you can just read my stuff. You'd already know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not either or. It's not I'm a shaman, I never do totemism and animism. It's like I'm anything religious, even spiritual, not religious, you're animist.
Yeah.
Anything else you add, you start adding the other stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It's adding layers. It's not either or.
Yeah, I'm not that like Christians. I'm not that. Oh, actually, you're all that. You are animist, totemist, shamanist, paganist, in a sense, what I call progressed organized religion. So you're actually the culmination and still have all of it.
Yeah.
So when you like, oh, those people are whatever. Yeah, so are you. You're doing all things. Yeah.
That's right.
So does it different that they have only one or a few parts and you have all of them? Which story
doesn't seem different to somebody who doesn't believe in any of it, right?
Yeah, it's all a bunch of stories. So which one is the last few stories or the beginning story?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. But anyways, so, but this helps to understand like what's going on. Why? And like I said, and then this helps to know that to me, shamanism came from Siberia, the Yinsen languages, directly into the Shang dynasty in a sense. The dynasty before it, which they're talking about, that's right. The pre thing, and then later it relates to. And but this goes back to about being rulers. So they weren't in a sense exactly rulers at that point. So even though they came down, and even though I think they gave them shamanism, that didn't mean that they were the rulers.
Right.
Because I think it was O that was real dominant in China, which is, of course, not Q. Anyways, for the bigots out there that think all this shit's the same.
Right.
No. Anyway, so later the Zhongyu, which I think becomes Attila the Hun and the Mongols and all those people in this are related sort of with that empire. All their kings were or warlords or whatever were Q.
Okay.
They had different, C and I don't know what maybe O and whatever, but in N maybe, but they only Q was the leaders. So that's true. But once again, here's the thing. They weren't Caucasian.
Nope.
They were Asian.
Yeah.
Well, I know. You have to beat a dead horse, but I'm serious. That's why when people say that, I'm like, no. I'm like, well, wasn't it? Couldn't it? No. Fuck. How many times? No.
Yeah.
Anyways. Just saying.
No. White people were not rulers. They were not superior. They were not.
Well, even like I said, even Q at first, it's not like Q was superior the whole time.
Right.
They influence their religion, but then other people, O takes over and a different thing. And then eventually, though, Q, becomes the thing. Yeah, but once again, even if it was the whole time, it's not Caucasian. So, I mean,
yeah, that's right.
I'm like, just the fact, I was just thinking, though, just like a skeptic, I guess. If someone says to you, every culture in the world, their ruler, where the DNA doesn't match, was a Caucasian white person.
Well, you just inherently, that's a lie or not
true.
What
I'm saying?
Right?
How does that even register as, well, I don't know. That's possible.
No, it fucking isn't. Clearly isn't.
And I agree that would go back to the statement, or at least should go back to the statement of Carl Sagan, right? That extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Yeah. If you're going to say some shit that is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, like every society was ruled by white people. Like, what?
But that's why I tried to show that person following me who had asked me the question. I tried to show him no, and then he's like, "Well, about the Aztecs taking over the Mayans?" Well, first off, Aztec never took over the Mayans.
That's
and Aztec languages started in California 5,000 years ago. And that's why they're Californians, as I already told you, left and went all the way down and made the pyramids in Peru or whatever. Right. So then, of course, they have to go through the Mayan areas and all. Yeah, it spread the similar religion. Oh, yeah, all of them are kind of similar from the Pueblos down to California. Yeah, all the way. Yeah, because it is similar. But once again, it doesn't mean that people take over. Just people, or it's always stayed in the power. Like they.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this. It also makes me think, why do they want it to be that?
Yeah. That's the odd question. Right? Well, like, why are you arguing for this thing?
Or even that it interests you. I said it was interesting and wanted him to do a thing, not because I believed in it. I told that's my thing. I said, oh no, not because I felt like, wow, I hope that this scholar is going to attack this dude and explain why he's wrong. And then he said he blocked him. So I said, well, good to see you do a video. Then the scholar, after I told my fan all this stuff, right, and proved him wrong, I said, Aztecs have QDNA. So, and like I said, and if they took over the Mayans had QDNA. And if they took over the Andean people, they also had QDNA. So, I mean, once again, and the people are also that. So nobody's ruling it.
It's weird to think that, like, you're looking at this history and you're saying, oh, well, those lighter skinned people dominated those slightly darker skinned people. So that makes that makes the whole white supremacy project more accurate, except that doesn't make any sense. Like,
well, and that's all. But you get what I'm saying. I think I have shown, if people actually, and if you read my blogs, I explain stuff even more. But I think that I've done a good job, right, explaining why this is bullshit, and you shouldn't think it. It's not just because I'm a leftist and I'm anti-racist, so I don't want you to be a racist. I mean, I don't want you to be a racist, and also the facts are you're dumb as fuck if you're a racist.
Yeah,
I mean, in every argument you do to try to support your position is either fucking ludicrous, some kind of logical fallacy, or it's absolute nonsense you're believing, like this, like, oh, white people took over everything, that's why they should be in power. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So,
nonsense.
Right? Yeah. So you get what I'm trying to say. And even, like I said, even when people all go around, does it stay the same? And just like they said, that Europeans, so the R1B, right? I think, or R1A, maybe, it's R1A goes first at 5,000. Then R1B gets to, I'm talking about towards China.
Yeah.
R1A gets to Siberia, Lake Baikal, 5,500 years ago. R1B gets to not that far, but maybe Eastern China. Or no, Western China. Sorry, not Eastern. Western China, out there in the desert, like in Turan Basin. Maybe that far, because that's where the Tocharian language relates back to, Ukraine.
Okay.
Or the Balkans or something. Or maybe the Baltic, like around Finland or something. Anyways, somewhere over there, somewhere not in Asia. Okay. But anyway, but that one I think doesn't get there. I think it's 5,000 or 4,500 or something.
Okay.
It gets there a lot later. Right. Anyway, but my point is, even if that theory was true, they didn't come to rule China.
No.
They didn't even get to China, probably because China didn't let them. China was getting pretty strong by that point.
Right.
So I don't think you were just rolling in there, and the Mongols sure as hell were, or whatever the later the Zhongyu, but yeah, those people up there were definitely tough. So I don't think you were going up there either, which didn't happen. I mean, because think of this, the R1A, when it went to Siberia 5,500 years ago, it doesn't go over into the Amur region where the China is.
Okay.
Why is that? It didn't make it, because you know why? Those people over there were also tough. Yeah, that's cDNA. Going back to Genghis Khan. Yeah.
Right.
And then the Dane, those people are tough. So, yeah, the white people may be tough, but they're not the only tough people. Yeah. cDNA, those people were tough as hell too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tough, they didn't allow our DNA just to roll over Asia.
Yeah.
So, or East Asia, I should say. But anyways, just my point, just not because I could even give a shit, but I just showing the facts that didn't happen. So if you think that happened, it literally didn't happen.
Yeah.
So just saying, facts matter, but yeah. All right, well, let's keep going.
Sure. So the bronze metallurgy in China originated in what is referred to as the Erlitou period, which some historians argue places it within the range of dates controlled by the Shang dynasty. Others believe the Erlitou sites belong to the preceding Xia dynasty. The U.S. National Gallery of Art defines the Chinese Bronze Age as the period between about 2000 BCE and 771 BCE, a period that begins with the Erlitou culture and ends abruptly with the disintegration of the Western Zhou rule. There is reason to believe that bronze work developed inside China separately from outside influence. However, the discovery of Europeoid
I don't think that's accurate.
No. You don't think there's a good reason to believe that?
No, I didn't. I absolutely don't. No. It absolutely came from the steppes, at least. Which, remember that video we watched? That guy says that, the archaeologist.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of reasons. I looked at times, date, when things happened. The way it was already happened, it came. Because it did. One thing didn't just come. Religion came. Remember, they beat the tan god.
Right.
And then they get the mandate of heaven from those people. So
Yep.
Right.
So there's multiple things.
The god Tan. So you need Tan, and Tan comes from Teri, which is the Mongolian thing, and the Mongolian thing, as we already talked about, comes from the Yanxian languages of Siberia. That is, or was, maybe it's still there now, but more north. But it was, in a sense, west of Lake Balka. East of Lake Balka is, in a sense, China-Amur region, which, like I said, our DNA didn't actually penetrate because those people are very, very tough.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just like that. Just think of this. If I say the word everything in logic, right, then it only takes one example to then totally destroy that person's position.
Yeah.
So even I could show you many, but I just showed you one. Literally, they're Caucasians, ran into China and then didn't get to stay very long or go very far. So
there's your one example. That's all you need to disprove.
Only need one example. Done.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally, these are the time that they had the horse chariots and they were the badasses. Right? They went all the way down, took over Egypt for a second, and then got also taken over. Oh, sorry. The Egyptians fought back. Yep. So there's two examples. Damn it. I'm going to be coming up with a whole bunch or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Some people go, oh, yeah, but there's pharaohs that have our DNA. Okay. That's true. But not all of them.
Yeah. And not all of them after.
Yeah, exactly. So, no.
Yeah.
But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say is that these things, when I hear them, even if I didn't know the facts that I do know, I would think that sounds racist.
Yeah.
To even say that, or think that would be a logical possibility. Like, what? All cultures of the world were run by ancient white people. What? It's like, where did you read this? Fucking New Hitler Journal or some bullshit?
Right, yeah. It's
fuck?
some friggin' white supremacist paper.
I know a leftist ain't saying dumb shit like that, even if they don't have facts. I would be shocked. I mean,
yeah.
Because just like talking about what anarchism is, to me, anarchism is a type of social, in a sense, organization and a way of thinking.
Yeah.
Like the way the thinking is of capitalism is someone needs to be at the top, kind of a boss. And then, of course, the bosses shouldn't have to do everything. So they need, of course, mid-level bosses or whatever. And then, of course, they don't want to do the firing. So they get, lower-level bosses. And there's fucking huge hierarchy. Some asshole at the top that just golfs all fucking day where everyone else has to do hard shit or whatever. Elon Musk just fucking off and doing dumb crap.
Tweeting.
So, tweeting at fucking, random fucking poor people.
Yeah.
Dickhead. But so, the hierarchical system is not okay.
No.
Right? It's abusive at every level, actually. And everyone's at threat to they're not even paid work. I always say, to me, I told you before, to me, it's so easy that capitalism is no good.
Right.
because they, like I told you before about how much a minimum wage should be. They literally live off of the people, but don't desire those people to have a life.
Yeah.
How fucking evil is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously,
yeah.
These people have like 50 houses, a fucking yacht as big as a fucking, some people's, golf courses.
Yeah.
And then they're mad to pay people to fucking have a life just to fucking get by. Now, people say, well, they can get food. They can't even get healthy food because it's so expensive.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyways, like I told you, they don't make money off the product, or in a sense, the value of getting cheaper resources to make the product, right? Because that's all reasonable.
Yeah.
No, capitalism makes money off of also the employee. See, the employee should be getting an equal fucking share or a high fucking wage.
Yeah.
Right? As a good compensation for what they're doing. No. They give them the lowest fucking wage possible because then it's earnings to them. It's extra profits. How disgusting that your business literally making profit off your employees instead of off the product. And then both of you benefiting from the product. I mean, it's just gross. Like I told you. I don't even get how people how is that okay? How could, even if you felt like, right, I understand some people, I'm hopeless, I'm weak, I don't have a voice, I just do just so you can get by. Okay, but then don't tell me that capitalism is good. Don't you know what I'm saying? Don't say that Joe Biden is perfect when he says I love capitalism or whatever. You shouldn't. You should go, I vote for Joe Biden anyways, but fuck that. You should at least, otherwise, then you're just a Gumby following all these people's bullshit. I mean, like I said, you wouldn't accept a friend that every time ate the whole fucking pizza and gave you nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you had to chip in, still he ate the whole fucking thing. You would be like, what in the fuck?
Or more accurate to capitalism, you bought the fucking thing and then he ate the whole thing.
That's exactly. But you get what I'm trying to say. How is that ever okay? How could, because they go, well, you're too extreme. How is that what I'm saying too extreme, Corey?
Yeah, no.
It's not. I'm just saying, I could told you, I'm not really against value or trading or doing. What I'm super against is unethical things. Making money off of the weakest people. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's fucking gross. You should be making money off the product. If you make a good product, then you both should benefit. What the fuck?
Yep.
Anyways, I know this is logical to you, so I'm. You're like, yeah, okay. No, but I'm just making.
I have no argument against what you're saying.
But you get from me how simple it is. How simple is it not that the company say, "Oh, I'm making money off this great product." No, you're making money off of the product and your laborers.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, like who makes the product? Who's selling the product? Who's getting the product into the customer's hands? Are they being compensated for the time that they appropriately based on the profits that are created by that process?
But see, that's ethical, Corey. And that's what I'm saying. See, we're not even, how is that crazy either of us?
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not right to take money off of the employees. You both should make money off of the product. That's cool. Why are the employees getting robbed?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, because they have,
because I took the risk of starting a business.
So that allows me to be unethical. That's what they should say. That's all. Anyways, to me, it's ethical. So how can it not be?
Well, and it's counterfactual actually, because a lot of businesses have like a variety of insurances and government subsidies that stop them from actually losing money. So it's not actually a risk. They're just in a position of power, so they exploit that power.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think that's also why Biden likes to say he wants to do the middle class. Why? because to me, the middle class is the buffer for the elite.
Yep. Yep.
Literally.
That's
so
right.
That's why he talks about that. He doesn't say what he should see. This is thing. If he was good, just saying, if he was a good person, wouldn't you think of it this way? I want to eliminate the poor.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fucking hot? Now, who would not say that's a good person right there? See? But to say, I want to build the middle class out and up, or whatever, or out. Maybe that's all he said, not up. Maybe just out.
Yeah, probably not up.
Probably not up. Out.
Yeah.
Because they're the buffer against the poor. But he literally has, I have fucking never heard him say, or at least maybe I don't listen every time, so.
Right. Maybe he has said something.
Maybe he said it, but I have heard him say more than once, I want to build the middle class. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just making a comment. I don't hear him saying, I want to eliminate the poor. Whoa, that'd be cool.
Well, and the thing that they also kind of ignore when they want to build the middle class is that the fact that the middle class is actually like losing status, losing income, losing ability to purchase goods and homes and have things of their own. Like the middle class, the ones that are the barrier between the poor and the elites, are also getting poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer.
But even if that was the goal, let's just say that the middle class was the perfect basic life. Like it's once again, to me, it's
still
to agree. It's there because of the oppression of the poor.
Yep.
So how in the fuck is that even okay?
Yeah.
Even if that was some great thing.
Yeah. It's exploitation that makes the middle class's life
possible.
Yeah.
See, that's where you're better sometimes than me, because you have that leftist lingo to remember. I got to come up and what am I saying?
Yeah. I've read too much theory at this point.
There you go. I mean, like I told you before, I'm not against leftist stuff. It's good. I just already have a pretty good perspective without reading any of it.
Yeah.
Because I just think in value, and to me, you do that, you become a leftist. I mean, how do you honestly not? Like I told you before, how do you honestly not go, fuck, I need to be an anarchist?
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, back to states rising.
Sure. Where was I? Yes. The statement that you disagree with. There is reason to believe that bronze work developed inside China separately from outside influence. However, the discovery of Europoid mummies in Xinjiang has caused some scholars, such as Johan Gunnar Andersen, Jan Rumgaard, and An Zimin, to suggest a possible route of transmission from the west eastwards. According to An Zimin, it can be imagined that initially bronze and iron technology took its rise in West Asia, first influenced the Xinjiang region, and then reached the Yellow River Valley, providing the external impetus for the rise of the Shang and Zhou civilizations. According to Jan Romgaard, bronze and iron tools seem to have traveled from west to east, as well as the use of wheeled wagons and the domestication of the horse. There are also possible links to Sima Turbino culture, a transcultural complex.
Right, which we talked about. And I said they are the reason, and they start in Siberia, near Lake Baikal, south of it, but near Lake Baikal, almost near Mongolia. So they start right there, and then that's where it goes from, in a sense. So to me, it absolutely, it doesn't start in China. I mean, when stuff does, I say it does. When it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, it came thereafter.
Yep.
So a transcultural complex across northern Eurasia, the Eurasian steppe, and the Urals. However, the oldest bronze objects found in China so far were discovered at the Maiyeo site in Gansu rather than at Xinjiang. The Shang dynasty, also known as the Yin dynasty of the Yellow River Valley, rose to power after the Xia dynasty around 1600 BC. While some direct information about the Shang dynasty comes from the Shang era inscriptions on bronze artifacts, most comes from oracle bones, turtle shells, cattle scapulae, or other bones. which bear glyphs that form the first significant corpus of the recorded Chinese characters. The production of Erlitou in Henan represents the earliest large-scale metallurgy industry in the central plains of China. The influence of the Sema Turbino metalworking tradition from the north is supported by a series of recent discoveries in China of many unique perforated spearheads with downward hooks and small loops on the same or opposite side of the socket, which could be associated with the Sema Turbino visual vocabulary of southern Siberia.
Right, and I told you it comes from southern Siberia.
Yeah.
And that's the word that the Yantian language is. And I told you 4,000 years ago, that's where Q comes from. So, yeah. Down into China.
Yeah. The metallurgical centers of this northwestern China, especially Qijia in Gansu and Kezing-Zhuang culture in Shaanxi, played an intermediary role in this process. Iron has been found from the Zhou dynasty, but its use was minimal. Chinese literature dating to the 6th century BCE attests knowledge of iron smelting, yet bronze continues to occupy the seat of significance in the archaeological and historical record for some time after this. Historian W.C. White argues that iron did not supplant bronze at any period before the end of the Zhou dynasty, 256 BCE, and that bronze vessels make up the majority of metal vessels through the later Han period, or to 221 BCE. The Chinese bronze artifacts generally are either utilitarian, like spear points, or adzi heads, or ritual bronzes, which are more elaborate versions in precious materials of everyday vessels, as well as tools and weapons. Examples are the numerous large sacrificial tripods known as dings in Chinese. There are many other distinct shapes. Surviving identified Chinese ritual bronzes tend to be highly decorated, often with the Teoti motif, which involves highly stylized animal faces. These appear in 3 main motif types, those of demons, of symbolic animals, and abstract symbols. Many large bronzes also bear cast inscriptions that are the great bulk of the surviving body of Chinese writing and have helped historians and archaeologists piece together the history of China, especially during the Zhou dynasty, 1046 to 256 BCE. The bronzes of the Western Zhou dynasty document large portions of history, not found in the extant texts that were often composed by persons of varying rank and possibly even social class. Further, the medium of cast bronze lends the record they preserve a permanence not enjoyed by manuscripts. These inscriptions can commonly be subdivided into 4 parts: a reference to the date and place, the naming of the event commemorated, the list of gifts given to the artisan in exchange for the bronze, and a dedication. The relative points of reference these vessels provide have enabled historians to place most of the vessels within a certain time frame of the Western Zhou period, allowing them to trace the evolution of the vessels and the events they record. In Ban Chiang, Thailand, Southeast Asia, bronze artifacts have been discovered dating to 2100 BCE. However, according to the radiocarbon dating on the human and pig bones in Ban Chiang, some scholars propose that the initial Bronze Age in Ban Chiang was in late 2nd millennium. In Nyan Wan, Burma, bronze tools have been excavated along with ceramics and stone artifacts. Dating is still currently broad, 3500 to 500 BCE. Ban Non Wat, excavated by Charles Hyham, was a rich site with over 640 graves excavated that gleaned many complex bronze items that may have had social value connected to them. Ban Chiang, however, is the most thoroughly documented site while having the clearest evidence of metallurgy when it comes to Southeast Asia. With a rough date range of late 3rd millennium BCE to the 1st millennium CE, This site alone has various artifacts such as burial pottery dating from 2100 to 1700 BCE, fragments of bronze, copper-based bangles, and much more. What's interesting about this site, however, is not just the old age of the artifacts, but this technology suggests on-site casting from the very beginning. The on-site casting supports the theory that bronze was first introduced in Southeast Asia as fully developed, which therefore shows that bronze was innovated from a different country. Some scholars believe that the copper-based metallurgy was disseminated from northwest and central China via south and southwest areas, such as Guangdong province and Yunnan province, and finally into Southeast Asia around 1000 BCE. Archaeology also suggests that Bronze Age metallurgy may not have been as significant a catalyst in social stratification and warfare in Southeast Asia as in other regions. Social distribution shifting away from chiefdom states to a hierarchical network. Data analysis of such sites such as Ban Lum Khao, Ban Na Di, Non Nok Ta, Ko Phanam Di, or Nong Nor have consistently led researchers to conclude that there was no entrenched hierarchy.
Right. So once again, hold on. Oh, that debunks the theory. Caucasians were ruling everybody. There's another one.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to have white people ruling over non-hierarchical people.
Anyways, facts matter, right?
Yep, that's right.
Well, you've got to learn a little bit more about the world from me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I know a lot more about ancient history than I ever knew before, for sure.
And it's interesting that there is actually a lot of history, and that science that does, and archaeologists and historians do know stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's not just a big question mark before the year 2000 or before 1985 or whatever fucking year that people pick.
Exactly.
It's like people have been keeping track of this stuff. They've been learning about this stuff. They've been like, yeah.
So that's why, to me, it's like, hearing someone's ideas, if they have evidence, is not unreasonable. Hearing someone's ideas out and then they have no evidence, and then you keep believing that with the no evidence. No, that's not. Belief should be built off of evidence. Just saying. And just pointing to a place and go, well, these are two pyramids. They couldn't have been both made, without knowledge. Like, you don't know that.
Yeah. You have no idea how that worked because you didn't do the work to find out.
Yeah, and you should go look at what other people know. Well, I think the archaeologists don't know. Do you know what they know? I think you should start there.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah.
Find out what archaeologists know before you decide that they don't know anything.
Exactly. Really. Or you keep saying that they don't, or you can't trust science. Like, really?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's about all I do is trust, especially nowadays, right? With the fucking everyone's a liar, especially politicians. Politicians, as we've been talking about, are fucking liars. Science is one of the few things that is still kind of fucking trustable.
Yeah, that's right. And unfortunately, you still have to go directly to the science. You can't just believe what the media might report on it, because obviously,
or even going back to that point, even sometimes science will find something.
Yeah.
And then a scientist will make a philosophy or a religious or a cultural or a whatever claim. And it's not actually a science claim. Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm not saying just blindly listen to every single person. I don't. I that my ideas kind of challenge some of the archaeologists, but once again about challenge, but actually challenge because I show facts that say things. I challenge that they thought they understood something one way, and the facts are showing something else.
Right.
But that happens to me too. I had facts shown to me. Like I said, my belief followed the evidence because it said I was following the facts that, the Balkans got 7,000 years ago got millet from China. It literally said that in Wikipedia. I think it still says that from China. If you go read about millet, but that now another person said that can't be accurate. They didn't get it until 4,500 with this Sinto-Tibetan culture that we're talking about right now.
Right.
They brought it, not the other people. So I was like, whoa, because I thought that's how to explain the deity thing. And I was like, oh, then maybe I don't know who. But then later I found, oh no, there's C4 in there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And C4 comes from, I already told you, the place where the word shaman comes from, which is in a sense the Amur region, which I already showed you is east of Lake Baikal.
Yeah.
They came from there. So I don't know. Ukraine is a little bit of ways from there. But when you understand, like I said, people are continually doing that, going across the steppe and then sometimes right back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, facts.
It's almost like they matter.
Yeah, almost. Not to everybody, but to me it does.
Yeah. So, the beginning of the Bronze Age on the peninsula is around 1000 to 800 BCE. Initially centered on the Liaoning and southern Manchuria, Korean Bronze Age culture exhibits unique typology and styles, especially in ritual objects. The Mumun pottery period is named after the Korean name for the undecorated or plain cooking and storage vessels that form a large part of the pottery assemblage over the entire length of the period, but especially 850 to 550 BCE. The Mumun period is known for the origins of intensive agriculture and complex societies in both the Korean peninsula and the Japanese archipelago.
Right, because they're related. Because as I already told you, they start in China, then they go to Korea, then they go from Korea, and they go down to Japan.
Right.
So those are a reason. Now also is why southern Japan is also different than northern Japan.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's a new influx of people. Koreans went down and became Japanese. And of course they bring in religion. The thing that people do, once again, when they travel, they take their beliefs with them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. And that's why Buddhism and a whole bunch of different stuff gets to, because everyone thinks Zen Buddhism started in Japan. No, it didn't. It started in China. That's where it started.
Yeah.
Well, but people don't realize this. Even like udon soup, right? Noodles started in China.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, my point is, I'm just saying that a lot of stuff. This reminded me of this one time. I have a video where this guy's an anthropologist, and and he had one of the other people as an atheist meeting, like a meetup, and this one guy says, "Oh well, I know the people from Japan. They're so homogenous culture and everything. If in the way they are, they could leave Japan. They're still Japanese. They don't assimilate culture." And I'm like, that's not accurate.
No.
And this other guy goes, "Well, the anthropologist. Well, sometimes my colleagues would say I'm a racist or something because I kind of agree with what he says." I'm like, what? Excuse me? Like, first off, if a bunch of anthropologists, friends of yours, tell you you're a racist,
then you need to do something different.
Racist.
Yeah.
I don't have to break the news to you. Logic would imply that these are people that understand culture because anthropologists study past and present, sometimes cultures.
Yeah.
So if an anthropologist tells you you're a racist, ooh.
And
there's several of them, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, so first off that. And the second thing is you're wrong because, like, what I'm teaching you right here, well, some of them come from China and then pick up North Koreans on the way. And then also, so North Koreans and Chinese, in a sense, DNA, and, becomes what people consider Japanese. But Japanese itself, once again, about homogenized, are not homogenized. I already said the people in the North totally different. They used to think they were European.
Right.
Wrong. I think what it is, if they see someone light skinned, they just think it has to be Caucasian because they're fucking racists.
Yeah. That's right.
Come on. No, that's not how that works.
Yeah. I think people gotta actually look back at some of the history of even if you want to look at the 20th century and the influence of America in Japan and Korea and the interplay of those things. No, I mean,
racism is stupid. And every time they try to justify it, oh fuck, it's even stupider.
Yeah, that's right. Because they got to make up bullshit to justify their bullshit. So
right, and then you're like, yeah, literally all your shit's bullcrap that you say to try to justify that your unjustified position is justified.
Yeah.
Fuck, give me a break.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's keep reading. But yeah, racists are stupid. So.
Yep. Still.
Yeah. I'm not going to change my opinion on that.
Yeah. The Middle Mumun pottery period culture of the southern Korean peninsula gradually adopted bronze production 700 to 600 BCE. After a period when Liaoning style bronze daggers and their bronze artifacts were exchanged as far as the interior part of the southern peninsula, 900 to 700 BCE. The bronze daggers lent prestige and authority to the personages who wielded and were buried with them in high-status megalithic burials at south coastal centers such as the Igeum-dong site.
Right.
Bronze. Elites. Yeah, elites, exactly.
Yeah, fuck that. See that once again, you can't have elites and have anarchism.
No.
No. That's also why I'm not into worshiping, fucking other people, nor do I think anyone should worship me. You should appreciate ideas.
Yeah.
And you can even appreciate people that do ideas well. Because all the work I put in to learn this stuff and then to put it together and then, to do it. It's fucking been years, man. It's a lot of work.
Yep. Yeah, and that work, it's probably nice if it's understood and accepted and acknowledged.
Yeah, it should be. I really, I told you before, with all the truth I say, and don't I say amazing things? See shit no one else fucking probably knows. Archaeologists probably do, but the general public don't know a lot of shit I say, right? And yet, I don't know why I'm not having more people following or watching our videos and learning. The fuck is wrong with people?
Learning's hard.
Yeah.
Learning's too hard.
It is. Let's keep reading.
Bronze was an important element in ceremonies and as for mortuary offerings until 100 BCE. Dating back to the Neolithic age, the first bronze drum, called the Dong Sun drum, were uncovered in and around the Red River Delta regions of North Vietnam and southern China. These relate to the Dong Son culture of Vietnam. Archaeological research in northern Vietnam indicates an increase in rates of infectious disease following the advent of metallurgy. Skeletal fragments in sites dating to the early and mid-Bronze Age evidence a greater proportion of lesions than in sites of earlier periods. And there are a few possible implications of this. One is the increased contact with bacterial and or fungal pathogens due to increased population density and land clearing / cultivation. The other one is decreased levels of immunocompetence in the Metal Age due to the changes in the diet caused by agriculture. The last is that there may have been an emergence of infectious disease in the Da Boot period. The period that evolved into a more virulent form in the Metal period. The Japanese archipelago saw the introduction of bronze during the beginning of the early Yayoi period, 300 BCE, which saw the introduction of metalworking and agricultural practices brought in by settlers arriving from the continent. Bronze and iron smelting techniques spread to the Japanese archipelago through contact with other ancient East Asian civilizations, particularly immigration and trade from ancient Korean peninsula and ancient mainland China.
Oh, you mean just what Damien said?
Right.
You're like, oh, dang it, Damien's right again. Yeah. Just like, you like why, you like to think like a skeptic is because you like to have evidence for things, not just wild fucking speculations. Like,
yeah.
Couldn't there be like aliens like living in my body right now? Like, what?
No, there cannot.
I'm saying, I guess one guy goes, well, anything is possible. I go, I have the Nile River, the whole Nile River in my pocket.
Well, no, you don't. That's not possible.
And I said, do you have to look? Do you have to look?
Yeah.
No. Do you think I can actually have the Nile River in my pocket? I'm like, see, logic dictates that certain things are impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes when people talk and they don't understand logic and they say impossible things and they're like, well, that can't this be true? Can't it still be possible? I go, no. And they're like,
you can't prove it's not.
What? How can you say no? And I said, I did say no, and I'm very confident about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Foolishness.
Like, yeah, alrighty then.
Iron was mainly used for agricultural and other tools, whereas ritual and ceremonial artifacts were mainly made of bronze. And then we have a picture of the early two culture.
Well, did you see tan? That tan's not in there?
I have, I'm all I've got is,
I'm going to have to give you, I'll give it to you now then.
Okay.
Well, you remember how long ago I gave you, I made this blog, like,
right. Yeah.
Or script for you 8 videos ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to show you, because this relates to what that culture, that Sino-Tibetan culture or Taburo culture, whatever the heck.
Yeah, the
Shinto.
Let's see what it is. Sima Turbino.
The Sima Turbino culture. That's the one I think, which would be about the time, like I said, when QDNA goes down there 4,000. That about that time, I think they got transferred the deity. Because that's about the time they got tan.
Hmm.
Okay, do you see that now?
Yes.
Okay. So that thing that says tan, that is the Bronze Age Chinese script for tan.
Okay.
See, and then that figure, they don't know what that is. I think that is probably tan.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think the one figure with the 3 things in the head, because he's the sun, and so he's also the Trinity.
Okay.
Like, I've never heard of the Trinity before. What the?
Nope, not a thing, right?
Did you see the? Speaking of that, did you do the Jesus myth? Or nonsense? Did you see this thing I sent you about Jesus?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? It was right before the mounds. I sent you mound stuff, but before that, in between that one from Louisiana, that when I said I was going to send you the script, remember that? Then after that, I sent you about Jesus, because atheists do this. So atheists will say, depending on the level they say it, it becomes worse. If they say that all these other figures, like they'll say 12 or 11 or 8 or whatever number they say, it's horseshit, but whatever number they say, at least the way they explain it, Okay, when I explain it, it's better. When they explain it, it's not right. But they'll say Jesus is already was in Osiris or Ra or whatever. All these different things. They'll try to say all these similarities and stuff. Most of the people that put those things together, I don't, either they're misinformed or just lying. Shit's fucked up. It's not very good. They say like, oh, Ra had 12 disciples and was, put on a cross and rose from the dead and all this. His dick did, and supposedly his dick got cut off, and then she tried to like sew it back on and have sex with it. If that's what you mean by coming back to life,
yeah,
I don't know. Anyways,
not the same thing, but okay.
But that's an Egyptian myth. I can't remember exactly. I think it's to Ra, but that's an Egyptian myth about someone dying and then their dick being cut off or whatever. Anyways, so that actually could be about real fucking dicks being cut off, probably.
Right.
Because it's about 4,000 years or under that. Maybe it's 3,500. Well, sometimes in there, dicks get cut off, but then states came to power, and and kings and emperors, and anyways. So the Jesus thing. So I sent you. Do you see it though? Where it says Jesus is somewhat related to the Canaanite god Baal, and Father God is God El.
Yeah,
and that's why Israel equals Israel, the deity.
Okay.
So they're literally the name of the thing actually relates to this. And then Baal, by the way, the last part of the B-A and then the A-L, well, I-L, A-L, E-L are all the same thing. It's just how you pronounce it in these different languages.
Right.
For the Semitic or whatever. See what I'm saying? So there's East Semitic, West Semitic. So that changes. Like, so that's like Allah. Allah is, in a sense, is El. So it's just all is El. Is El is still El. Because in Mesopotamia, they would call it I-L or whatever. Or maybe, L-I. I think it's I-L. So it's I-L, E-L, and A-L are all actually the same thing.
Okay.
So, just trying to help people out, like how these things are. Now, this is a good way to explain how they're related.
Right.
And Baal is the son of El. So see how Jesus is like Baal? So Baal is the son of El, and Jesus is the son of the Father God. See what I'm saying? It's the same bullshit.
Yeah.
And not only that, Baal also is actually in the Hebrew all over the place.
Right.
And not in a negative way. They eventually hate it because, see, here's like I told you before, the real fact. The Jews started out as Canaanites who were related to the Amorites, who were related to the Kurgas culture.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. And they come from the southern Cossack mountains, in a sense. Anyways. So that's, and like I told you, anyone wants all the racism speaking about Egypt, or Israel. Like I see someone the other day say anyone white in Israel is not is real. You have to be brown. I'm sorry. If you look at Lebanon, whatever those people look like, they're like 94% Canaanite. So, and they're very, very light skinned. All of them. Because that is, so how dark skin, see if they were to go learn like things like facts. So when people are in Palestine right now, they consider, some of them could be Canaanite originally, but some of them are not. Some of them relate to Arab, and Arab relates to Arabia, meaning they are invaders from Arabia.
Right.
Now, how they got darker, they had black African slaves that they raped. And some of the children, of course, then become mixed into the larger culture. Especially when, people no longer remember that they were slaves or whatever, where they came from. And they don't, they really should never have bigotry, even if you know where you come from, but either way. Okay, because skin color bigotry is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But, fucking people. But anyway, so once you learn the stuff, and just like what you were saying, we know when, where, how, DNA, things, stuff.
Right.
Yeah. All they have is mythology, but so the Jewish stuff is mythology too. So the title Baal is synonym, some context of Hebrew for Adon, Lord, or Adonai, my Lord. Now, Christians love saying, oh, Adonai is Jesus or it's God. Yeah, God Baal.
Yeah.
This is still used when saying Lord of Israel is Yahweh. So don't tell me it's not related. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not adding, saying, well, they're similar. This literally is what happened.
Yeah.
See, why don't you? The person did share that. I'm thinking, why don't you share shit like that? Like,
right.
I don't know, that totally debunks it and is fucking true. You don't have to go anywhere else. Look right there, right? The Canaanite religion, this pagan, and they fucking have all over. Look, it says the Jewish Study Bible, Oxford University Press, on page 68. The scientific etymology of Israel is uncertain. A good guess being the god El rules.
Right.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Did I say it was God El? Yeah, I did. Damn it. And Baal is Jesus, of course, because the Father, El, and the Son, Baal. Anyways, implying God through the word of the supreme deity of the Canaanite religion. Oh, so I'm right again. Even the Jewish fucking study Bible taught you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ignorance is a choice, not actually that everyone is actually ignorant. It has to be.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And then real quick, just so people, can you go ahead and read the El part, what El means?
Specific deities known as El, Al, or Il include the supreme god of the ancient Canaanite religion and the supreme god of the East Semitic speakers in early dynastic period of Mesopotamia. Although El gained different appearances and meanings in different languages over time, it continues to exist as Il or El in compound noun phrases such as Ishmael, Israel, Daniel, Raphael, Michael, and Gabriel.
I'm sorry. It just makes me laugh. The Christians think their shit's so special. I'm like, oh my God. You watch my videos. Please be educated. Corey has had to sit through, you know how much boring stuff just to educate you guys?
Please learn something, goddammit.
Yeah. Someone's suffering over here. He didn't even know about DNA stuff. Now that's all he thinks about. It is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but because I like it because it's facts, just like the language and the culture and the items and the religion. You see stuff moving around, and you know it's culture. So, anyway, we'll go back to the thing. I just thought that was a relative,
For sure.
Yeah, if you're gonna debate, one thing I was saying to like atheists, just use the truth too. What the fuck?
Yeah,
you don't
that's
need
right.
to make shit up. What the fuck? They're lying. Just prove they're wrong, or use my facts or someone else's facts and prove them wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't make shit up.
You don't have to.
Yeah. Fighting a paper tiger.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So next we've got the map of the Erlitou culture.
Yes.
Erlitou in eastern China. The Erlitou culture was an early Bronze Age urban society and archaeological culture that existed in the Yellow River Valley from approximately 1900 to 1500 BCE, or around 3,900 to 3,500 years ago. A 2007 study of radiocarbon dating proposed a narrower date range of 1750 to 1530 BCE. The culture was named after the site discovered at Erlitou in Yanxi, Henan. It was widely spread throughout Henan and Jiangxi and later appeared in Jiangxi and Hubei. Most archaeologists consider Erlitou the first state-level society in China. Chinese archaeologists generally identify the Erlitou culture as the site of the Xia dynasty, but there is no firm evidence, such as writing, to substantiate such a linkage. as the earliest
That's
evidence.
I think it's crazy that as if that's the only way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think we established earlier that there's all kinds of ways before.
That's why I told you how whenever I read that, I go, oh, what the fuck kind of statement is that? And like, you need to go do some more research before you say dumb shit.
The earliest
I've already
evidence,
read stuff that says it seems pretty reasonable that there's a connection to that Zia dynasty. It's just that it probably may not have been as like controlled as they like to believe it, or big as it was, or whatever. Oh yeah, people lie. What a surprise!
Yeah, go figure, eh?
Our thing is we own all this land. Like, actually, wasn't that much.
Yeah, people outside of this particular region didn't really acknowledge that. So,
yeah, but that's why the artifacts seem like it's a lot, like half the size of what it's claimed to be, like in the stories. Like, it's so great. Yeah, it wasn't that far. I mean, but everything else, then maybe it was just migratory, or maybe it was just nomads roaming back and forth. But the artifacts should also match that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the facts, feeling super confident, yeah, no, that's not how thinking should work.
Yeah, for sure. To substantiate such a linkage, as the earliest evidence of Chinese writing dates to the late Shang dynasty, the Erlitou culture may have evolved from the matrix of the Long Shang culture, 3000 to 1900 BCE. Originally centered around Hunan and Jiangxi provinces, the culture spread to Jiangxi and Hubei provinces. After the rise of the Erligang culture, the site at Erlitou diminished in size but remained inhabited. Then we've got a map with a proposed location of the Zia dynasty.
Right. And this is more from like the mythology, but also relating to that actual place, Erlitou, whatever.
Okay. It says dating from 2070 to 1600 BCE, or around 4070 to 3600 years ago.
Right. So go ahead and read the Z dynasty, because this, in a sense, so just so you know, that some people say this is like mythical or whatever. I think mythical is how much they blew it out of proportion is mythical. You know, like saying America's great or something. And
right.
You read American history, you're like, when
is it though? Yeah.
Yeah. Does that happen like what, after 2024?
Yeah, that's right.
When should we start looking? I mean, because you don't mean any of the history that's gone on, right? Because that is ugly.
Because that's an exaggeration. Greatness is not.
What do you mean by that? You mean that end up is let's not go on about that. But
yeah.
So, but the same thing. So so my point is, from what I've learned, I think that it is a thing. It just was way less space because the artifacts don't support it being super, super big as they think. So, but I don't know. Maybe other people in that area were giving them tribute, so maybe they just considered that theirs, or even though they weren't
maybe
permanently there or something. Maybe I don't know. But all I'm saying is, from the evidence, if we just stick to the evidence, then there was something. There was a state, and it wasn't very powerful.
Okay.
At least, beyond its little borders,
Right.
But obviously stories like it can be more. That's all I'm saying, is that it's not that the whole thing is fake. It's that it's blown out of proportion. Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
So go ahead and read it. Just so you know that it is true. It's just not. Yeah.
Okay. The Zia dynasty from 2070 to 1600 BCE, or around 4700 to 3600 years ago, is the first dynasty in traditional Chinese historiography. In traditional historiography, the Zia was later succeeded by the Shang dynasty. mDNA from Yinzhou graves showed similarities with modern northern Han Chinese. According to tradition, the
reason also, just so you know, there's two Chinese, North Chinese Han Chinese and South Han Chinese. But the North Han Chinese is more connected genetically. The South Han Chinese, some of it may be genetic and some of it may be people that wanted to pass as Han, just like people pass as white.
Okay. Interesting.
You get my point? Yep. Meaning that they're all maybe not Han, actually.
Right.
Even though that they are maybe not. Who knows exactly, but you get my point. Once again, I don't agree with bigotry, Asian against other Asian or black or white or any fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'm trying to explain what they were doing, not what I think that's horseshit, really.
For sure.
I have no problem with anyone in the fucking world of any color.
Yeah.
The green people show up. As long as they're being ethical, I'm fucking cool.
Yeah.
The fuck, what does that matter?
Yeah.
Haven't you watched Star Wars or Star Trek and learned at least a little bit of
right,
okay for shit to be different?
People can interact and live and be different, right. And it's fine.
Not that, by the way, not that like, some people are like, oh, don't you want to be like Star Trek? They do go around a lot in kind of imperialist bullshit, and so no.
Not perfect by any stretch.
Yeah. That's once again, like I said, I told you before, someone said, well, how come you hang out with communists? Well, as long as they're not putting us in gulags or some shit, some of the things I would think it's going to be better than what we have now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you lived under capitalism? I have. It fucking sucks.
That's right.
I've lived in my car before at minus fucking 10.
And
in fucking Seattle.
I mean, despite the problems in various communist states, many people who, like the people of Cuba, recently voted to uphold the Communist Party doctrines, right? Like they believe in them. The people live there, see it as better than what's the alternatives. So it may not be perfect, but
well, that's what I was trying to go back to what I was saying. Perfect. So that's like the same thing. Like I told you, I'd rather vote for Democrat. I'd like Democrat. Once again, I don't mean people, by the way. I told you I try to be friends with everybody, but I mean I do judge you by shit you say. So if you say really fucked up shit, then I'm gonna judge that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I won't go into all that, but I'm just saying that these, and the reason why it's important, I think, once again, to not teach the dogma, to just teach the truth. If you just teach the truth, you should have different opinions. That's how I feel. It's not that that's the same thing with atheism. I don't think that I have to, like, people are like, why do you focus so much on religion? Because I'm doing atheist work. That's why.
Yeah.
Just telling the fucking truth, right? The truth sets you free. The truth shows that the religion is wrong. I know. I looked.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it is that. I don't think I have to do it always specifically something. Like I'm always trying to be anti-racist. I don't have to mention it every time, but I think just the fact of teaching you good facts kind of works against that, Just like every time we show the horror of statism, it never was okay. It's never been good. It's not like, well, at least back then when it started, it was good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
That's always go, well, it's gotten bad. I'm like, it never was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. According
not good phase.
Yeah, that's right. According to tradition, the Xia dynasty was established by the legendary Yu the Great after Shun. The last of the 5 emperors gave the throne to him. There are no contemporaneous records of the Xia, who are not mentioned in the oldest Chinese texts, since the earliest oracle bone inscriptions date from the late Shang period, 13th century BCE. The earliest mentions occur in the oldest chapters of the Book of Documents, which report speeches from the early Western Zhou period and are accepted by most scholars as dating from that time. The speeches justify the Zhou conquest of the Shang as the passing of the mandate of heaven and liken it to the secession of the Xia by the Shang.
Wait, pause for a second. So the mandate of heaven, so people know if you never heard of this, is you've already heard of it. In European, we call it the divine right of kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's similar nonsense. First off, just think, why, as a peasant, would I, a non-king, right? Would I want to worship a god who thinks that there should be kings?
Yeah.
what? There's a deity that supports kings. Like, it's like saying, well, my deity supports capitalism. Well, then I don't want your deity, even if it's real.
Yeah. Which some Christians do. Some Christians say that their God is a capitalist God. So,
well, if they're talking about Jesus, well, in the stories of Jesus, he sounds a lot more like a socialist or a democratic socialist or something. Yep. He's certainly not pro-wealth.
Yeah, that's right.
Or not helping the poor. He certainly says, in fact, the rich man says, how can I get my way to heaven? And he says, easier for a rich man to get through an eye, easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get to heaven. And he goes, well, what if I want to follow you? And he goes, oh, if you want to follow me, sell everything you have, which, of course, everything is everything.
Yep.
Give it to the poor and then follow me.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I want to stay rich and then follow you. And he goes, no, it doesn't work that way. How much clearer can you freaking get?
Yeah.
So how can you be uber capitalist Christian? What?
Yeah.
Are you giving to the poor? Okay, you don't follow Jesus. I get it. You don't follow Jesus. I get it.
Yeah,
but you're Christian, but you don't follow Jesus. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christian nationalists, they follow some sick version of Jesus. I think that Jesus has a gun and fucking is against abortion.
Yeah.
He hates poor people, hates people that are not white, which what?
Yeah.
Literally, Jesus was not full Caucasian. Break it to you.
Yeah, that's right.
First off, remember, like we already said, there's no such thing as full Caucasian.
Yeah, that's right.
Even if it's from the people from the Cossack Mountains. Wahaha.
Yeah, it's still all nonsense.
Yeah, still. Like, oh, nope, that's wrong too. No. Are you saying they're 100% R1B or R1A? Well, no. Well, then done. You prove yourself wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Done. Yeah. Anyways, all that shit is so fucking stupid. So that's why they race realists and they try to go to DNA, and I just laugh. Fucking give me a break. Actually, I don't laugh. It actually pisses me off. But
but it is a joke, right? Like it is
a joke. It's so stupid. It's laughable, but it's not fucking funny. That's I guess the issue.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not fucking funny, and as you see, it's not even true. It's you're fucking making up shit. It's not fucking accurate, and also acting as if fucking historians and shit don't know anything. You have not fucking interacted with them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
The dumb fucks are the ones that are like, oh, trust science. Like, well, I think you're the dumb fuck. All right, let's keep reading.
Okay. That political philosophy, the mandate of heaven, was promoted by the Confucian school in the Eastern Zhou period. The succession of dynasties was incorporated into the bamboo annals of the records of the Grand Historian and became the official position of imperial historiography and ideology. Some scholars consider the Xia dynasty legendary or at least unsubstantiated, but others identify it with the archaeological Erlitou culture. According to the traditional chronology based on calculations by Liu Xin, the Xia ruled between 2205 and 1766 BCE, according to the chronology based on the current text, Bamboo Annals. It ruled between 1989 and 1558 BCE.
Right, so just a little under 4,000. And I told you just around a little before 4,000 is when QDNA goes in there and brings the tan god, which of course you need since the tan god relates to the mandate of heaven.
Right.
You can't have the mandate of heaven without the belief in the great raw sun.
Right.
And the yin and the yang, if you think about it or read about it, it relates to the sun and the moon. Oh, you mean that religion of shamanism that the people that relate to the highest DNA of the Han DNA in India and in Thailand, they have that Dopali or whatever it's called, which means sun moon religion, and is shamanism, animism, totemism. You mean that? Oh yeah, And I already said I think that's what the original kind of was, like yin and yang. Like Ra. Ra is the one eye, the eye of Ra, not the eyes of Ra, because the other one's the moon. One the sun, one the moon. Anyways, nonsense, of course. I'm just showing you that, the belief that the sun is magic and that the daytime sun is somehow more different than the evening sun or the morning sun. Yeah, because it's called superstition. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
I say, if you remove superstitions, you can't believe in God. You can believe in superstitions without God, though. It's not reasonable either way, but I'm trying to explain too, so you can grasp that how it interrelates these things. So,
the Zia Zhang Zhu Chronology Project, commissioned by the Chinese government in 1996, concluded that the Zia existed between 2070 and 1600 BCE. The Zia dynasty was described in classic texts such as the Classic of History, the Bamboo Annals, and the records of the Grand Historian. According to tradition, the resident Huaxia were the ancestral people of the Han Chinese. Traditional histories trace the development of the Zia to the mythical 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. According to ancient Chinese texts, before the Zia dynasty was established, battles were frequent between Yellow Emperor's tribe and Qi Yu's tribe. The records of the Grand Historian and the Classic of Zhuangzi, who was the grandson of the Yellow Emperor.
Pause for 1 second. But I just want to remind people how people talk, even historians. When it says the Yellow Emperor fought the other thing, these leaders did not fight. Generally, right? Even if they did, it would be to a very limited extent. They have other people, once again, the workers, fighting for them.
Yeah.
But then, of course, just like normal capitalism, it's the leader that gets all the credit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
What the fuck? Once again, that pizza thing I talk about with capitalism, right?
Yeah.
What the shit?
Yeah, a bunch of people go and fight battles, and then,
this
but
dude
we're
that
talking
didn't even
about
fight can get all the credit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then we're all okay with that. We're like, oh yeah, definitely. Oh, kings. Oh, my daughter's a princess, or I want to be a king, or like some people are like, I come from a land of kings or whatever. My people were rulers or had kings, or our people still have kings. Yeah, all that is fucked up.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. For sure.
Fuck kings. What the fuck? Elite, period. No elites. 0 elites. That's what I want.
Yeah.
0 elites. Now, that'll be a more ethical society.
For sure.
0 elites. That's why as soon as I say stuff like that, Corey's like, are you sure you're not an anarchist? And I'm like, I don't know.
It sounds like anarchism to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what that is. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just knew that shit's fucked up, and how the fuck is this okay? And you're like, yeah, because that's anarchist. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there's a thing that people have been talking about for a while. It's related to that.
You didn't invent that, Damien.
Yeah.
Came to my own, but no, I did not. I did not invent it.
Yeah. Well, because
there's a thing too about own, because I had life experience, which is. Because I've had jobs, like I told you, in truck driving. Literally every paycheck still for me. I'd have to look at it. As soon as I get home, I got to look at my miles and then match them up with what I got paid for. And every single time for 6 months, every month I was getting screwed. $200 something, $1,000, $50, $80, $300 again. Like what?
I think there is a certain kind of intuitive truth to the anti-hierarchical, anti-capitalist perspective.
Yeah.
It becomes it's nice to read that other people have come up with the theories and the complex thoughts around it, but it is intuitive to see that's unjust.
Right. Even you hearing my story, does that sound like the greatest thing? They're literally every fucking paycheck I have to do this, and they're like, oh, thank you for finding that. We'll get it not this week because you missed the Wednesday, but next week. I gotta wait 2 weeks for the money you fucked me out of?
Yeah, That's right.
What does that sound okay?
That's
you should cut a check in there right there. We'll cut it to you. It's in the mail right now.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck. Put it in your account right now. Fuck, they got all kinds of fucking money. They can't pay me my just wages.
Exactly.
And then I have to wait. And you think that I didn't need Marks to tell me that's fucked up. I'm like, this is fucked up. Just like when I worked fucking hours and then there was an accident and I had to stop on the road for 3 hours. They paid me half fucking pay. They said, we could have paid you minimum wage. And I was like, even more fucking pissed. What? They're like, well, that's because this is a right to work state. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that means, but I hate right to work now. What? We mean right to work, right to get fucked?
Right to work does not mean that what you're doing as an employer is right. It means that you are allowed to be unjust and unethical. And
not and to keep out unions.
Yeah.
It's a union busting thing, in a sense. Right to work. And it was also right to fire and all that, right to quit. Yeah. Well, you can quit whenever you want, but we can fire you without.
It's like they when at will employment became a thing, right? Like, so that means I can quit whenever I want, right? But what it actually means is that they can fire you for no reason at all whenever they want.
Whenever they want. That's fucked up. So I'm just saying, I had life experiences. Just like when I went and I was getting paid time and a half, right? And then I go and do this job and I work like 16 hours and I expect to get fucking paid fucking good.
Right.
And I got paid normal pay. I'm not time and a half. I'm like, what?
We're allowed to, unless you work over 80 hours in 2 weeks, then we don't have to pay.
Yes, I think it was, you didn't work the 40 hours in this week. You would, even though you worked only 2 days or something, it ended up almost more than 40 hours, but it wasn't, or maybe it wasn't exactly. And so, it's something like that. I can't remember. Maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't know. And I was like, excuse me? The fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I've had just getting fucked and fucked and fucked and fucked and fucked and not going, okay, this is bullshit. Because at first, before all this, I was like, oh yeah, the business does good. I do good. I'm okay with that. Yeah, sure. And then the more I got fucked and fucked and fucked, I was like, okay, this is what the fuck?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like we're propagandized, right? To tell ourselves, to be taught that the well-being of the company is important. It matters to me if my company makes money, but what do I actually get out of it if my company makes extra money?
Nothing.
Like, unless I'm going to get something out of it, then I'm not actually invested in the well-being of my company. Like it's actually just a lie.
So I'm just saying, so that it was life experiences, being constantly, to me, it's like, we're getting almost no wage to begin with. So we're already getting robbed. Yeah. And then they rob us on top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just like, it enraged me. I was like fucking pissed, Yeah. Like I said, I didn't have to read Marx. I'm getting fucked here and going, all right, I'm done.
Instead of being mad at shoplifters, and maybe we should actually be mad at wage theft.
Oh, we should. Yeah,
we've got a world that makes
paying shit wages to begin with. Like I said, not even justified. You're fucking stealing from your employees to get rich. That's gross.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. And you're not saying, oh, we both, I got the business did well and we all did well. Like, no. You did well. They stayed poor. What the fuck? That's ridiculous.
Yep, exactly.
Anyways, so that states,
yeah, pretty gross.
So go ahead and keep emperors. I hate all this stuff. None of this, it makes me happy. Go ahead and keep.
Yeah. But there are also other records like Bangu's that say Yu's father is a 5th generation descendant of Xuanzhu. Other sources, such as Shan Haijing, mention Yu's father Gun as the son of Luoming, who was the son of Huangdi. Sima Qian traced the origin of the dynastic Xia to the name of a fief granted to Yu, who would use it as his own surname and his state's name. Gun, the father of Yu the Great, is the earliest recorded member of the Xia clan. When the Yellow River flooded, many tribes united together to control and stop the flooding. Gun was appointed by Emperor Yao to stop the flooding. He ordered the construction of large blockades, levees, to block the path of the water. The attempts of Gunn to stop the flooding lasted for 9 years, but ultimately failed because the floods strengthened. After 9
Pause
years...
for a second. In Nordic beliefs, 9 is a very magical number.
Oh, okay.
So you have to hear it in the Trinity. 7 and 9 and 3 are important numbers. So I'm just letting you know that's already when you hear that. So another thing too is that once again, a lot of times they consider that when you control the rivers, you're controlling the dragon.
Oh, interesting.
The water and the dragons are connected. Oh, speaking of which, I will send you another pic right now. I'll show people too. But
okay.
That relates kind of to that. I have a picture about snakes and water. And it's a very related thing. But once you understand, like that snake dragon or whatever thing up there in Lake Balka has been known about for 30 to 25,000 years ago, yeah, it makes sense that all these snake and things are, dragons connected to water and mountains. But I mean, you've seen. I have a lot. I've done a lot of art. I've been working for years on this stuff.
Right. Okay.
You see it?
Yep.
So go ahead and read what it says.
Sacred snakes / dragons and rivers / lakes. To me, it's snakes and dragons in one theme expressed as rivers, thus developed on animism to gods or totem and other believed sacred beings. And then it says snake worship is seen in several ancient cultures, particularly snake as renewal.
Right, because they shed their skin. They also can go in between worlds. They can go in the water, float on top of the water, go under the water. They can go on land. They can go into the ground, right? They go into the holes. They go literally into the earth.
Yeah.
The underground or whatever, in a sense, So because they do stuff like that, they see that as... Because also people used to think the sun at night would go into the ground and then die.
Okay.
And then a goddess would give birth in the morning. So the morning was the goddess, and she gave birth to the day sun. They thought there was 2 different deities, actually 2 different genders too.
Right.
So I'm just showing, and it's the same sun, right? So we know that none of that actually happens. It's just we're actually floating around the sun and we're spinning. So that's actually what's happening. The sun's not doing anything.
Yeah,
at all. So except being a sun, but I mean, it's not like
that's right.
Switching genders and changing into different deities and no,
it's just kind of there.
Yeah. So you get what I'm trying to say is that so animism gives the belief that they're spirits, and then totemism gives the belief that spirits can be important to a certain clan.
Yeah.
Like, the Israel connects to their, God, and of course they connect to the land, which is another totemistic thing. Connection to the land is a totemistic belief.
Right.
Animists they are the land. Like the lion. They literally are like part of the wild.
Right.
Their mentality, they're not separate. I don't mean it in like a negative way. I'm just saying
but just
I'm saying they're so in tune. They're like part of the wild. They're not even separate from it in this sense. Sometimes totemists can be that way too, but to me that it's a thing of like separation. Totemism is doing that. Like it's telling you what clan you can have sex with, what things you can eat, what things you can wear or do or whatever. It's really about this world and your behavior, sort of. And then how that connects to like history and their thinking of clan itself or whatever.
Right.
As a thing, like, Anyways, so I'm just saying that different religions affect different, but it doesn't mean that totemism has animism.
Right.
And then shamanism has totemism and animism. And then paganism has shamanism, totemism, and animism. And then Christian stuff has paganism, totemism, animism, and shamanism. So it has all of it. So yeah, pieces of it. We put it that way.
Right.
But anyways, so I want to go down to the picture just to show you where that Z dynasty is. You see with modern China.
Okay.
And see where Lake Baikal is.
Yep.
Baikal. And then the next picture, we're going to go a little faster. This shows 3,000-year-old site, burial elites, and central plain, where they ends up,
Oh, yep.
Stuff going on. And then go ahead and read that right there. It says, ancient DNA reveals genetic structure of Northern Han Chinese.
Okay, it was shaped prior to 3,000 years ago. The Han Chinese are the largest ethnic group in the world and have a current population of a staggering 1.3 billion individuals. According to the historical documents, the generally accepted view is that the Han Chinese can trace their origins to the Huaxia ethnic group, which formed during the Shang and Zhou dynasties, 21st to 8th centuries BCE, in the Central Plain region of China, during the Han Dynasty, 260 BCE to 220 CE. The Huaxia ethnic group developed into a tribe known as the Han Chinese.
Oh, by the way, the Han Chinese are in a sense 3 DNA, which I already told you one of the 3 different ones that they call them 3 founding fathers or whatever. It's nDNA, qDNA, and oDNA. Just right. I don't know if you're going to read that, but I'm just telling you. So once again, no purity. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, go figure, hey?
No. Well, I'm just going back to this whole fucking purity thing. Once again, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Just start accepting that people are different and have different things, and we evolved it, That's it. This whole racist shit is just stupid fuck, but purity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sorry, we keep reading.
Sure. So we've got the abstract. The Han Chinese are the largest ethnic group in the world, and their origins, development, and expansion are complex. Many genetic studies have shown that Han Chinese can be divided into 2 distinct groups, Northern Han Chinese and Southern Han Chinese. The genetic history of the Southern Han Chinese has been well studied. However, the genetic history of the Northern Han Chinese is still obscure. In order to gain insight into the genetic history of the Northern Han Chinese, 89 human remains were sampled from the Hengbei site, which is located at the Central Plain and dates back to a key transitional period during the rise of the Han Chinese, approximately 3,000 years ago. We used 64 authentic mtDNA data obtained in the study, 27 Y chromosome SNP data profiles from previously studied Hengbei samples, and genetic data sets of the current Chinese populations and 2 ancient northern Chinese populations to analyze the relationship between the ancient people of Hengbei and the present-day northern Han Chinese. We used a wide range of population genetic analysis, including principal component analysis, sharing mtDNA haplotype analysis, and geographic mapping of the maternal genetic distances. The results show that the ancient people of Hengbei bore a strong genetic resemblance to present-day northern Han Chinese and were genetically distinct from other present-day Chinese populations and 2 ancient populations. These findings suggest that the genetic structure of the northern Han Chinese was already shaped 3,000 years ago in the Central Plain area.
Yep.
A study of mitochondrial DNA inherited in the maternal line from Yinzhou graves showed similarity with modern northern Han Chinese, but significant differences from southern Han Chinese. Yinzhou is
right, which is what we already talked about, remember?
Yeah.
How I said that some of them have DNA, but I think some of them also may have been either that tons and tons of intermarriage is also possible.
Right.
But I think also it was convenient to say I'm Han.
Sure.
They're literally like the biggest ethnic group in the world, and if they're coming or they're in power saying, "Yeah, I'm part of those people," that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not saying that's the only way, but I do think that could have been a factor why there's a big difference. Okay, let's keep reading.
I got to get going here soon, but
okay.
Yeah.
So let's go down to Torrenbing mummies real quick. So you see that picture?
Yep.
Okay, and that relates to Lake Baikal. These people are. Go down to the next picture. It shows person looks white.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Or people, but actually, it's the ancient North Eurasian DNA. It's a DNA. I think goes back to like 17 or 15,000 or something. or 10,000 at least. So, anyways, if that's what people are saying, is that Europeans out there? They look European. You know why? Because Europeans are Asians. So
Right.
when they don't leave Asia, though, they're not Europeans. It's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go figure, eh?
So, anyways, that's good. In the next picture, go down and just the next one.
Okay.
Is that shows ancient North Eurasians and the Avogora culture. The Avogora culture are
Afontovagora.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the one that actually makes the white skin. So go down one more. That shows that. See, there's the culture. But all the ancient North Eurasians are they white? Do they have the blonde hair?
Nope, they would not.
No, they don't. Only the Avogora, which is not actually all of them.
Right. Yeah, it's just
that's not the ones that go up to the north, right? See how it goes north?
Right.
And that becomes the Sami, but that's not directly related to that Avogora, and they don't have blonde hair. See, but it goes down to Terran-based mummies, doesn't it?
Right.
Right, and then it goes to Europe, where we find all these, Asian people that call themselves Europeans.
Right.
Well, it's science,
But the people who stayed there, they didn't become Europeans?
Amazingly enough, if you stay in Asia and you never leave Asia, you're Asian. Siberian.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing, huh?
That's
anyways,
amazing.
So we're done. That's fine.
Okay. Right on.
Yep. What do you think?
I think that it's hilarious. The whole assumption that these blonde people had anything to do with it,
or that somehow science doesn't know where the blonde people went.
Right. Yeah.
Or that you could just say ancient North Eurasians all had blonde hair, and you would be fucking wrong, or white skin, wrong.
Yeah. You can't
our DNA goes over to the Americas and fucking in some big wave or whatever. No. And like I said, even if a little bit did, it wasn't the leaders. It wasn't doing anything. It wasn't doing pottery. All the things he says, like no. So no. But until the next time, we're going to get into more of the culture stuff.
Right.
Okay. With China. We'll finish China. And then we'll do a show on Japan.
Okay. That sounds good.
And we'll do one on Siberia. And I know we've done stuff on it before, but we're going to do one on Siberia. And then we're going to do stuff on Graham Hancock.
Very cool.
So.
All right. So I still got a couple weeks before I got to watch this stupid show.
Yeah. Well, it might be enjoyable, as in to watch. It's exciting or whatever, shows you stuff, but it's nonsense. So
it's nonsense.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it's educational value. My stuff is educational value, And then if you feel like you're getting lost or something, go to the blog. It explains it. I have pictures. I do art. I've worked on tons of stuff to make it as easy to understand as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Which,
for
has
sure.
been hard. But it's important too, because once you understand it, then it starts to make sense. Things I say make sense. Yeah, they follow the facts. Once again, why Graham Hancock has archaeologists that are out he thinks to get him, but I don't have any of that happening because I have facts backing up. They go, that sounds wild. They read it and they go, oh, there's a fact about that. Okay. That's wild. Still wild, but now I know it's a fact.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't know that thing that you had researched and I didn't research.
Right. They don't know that 4,000 years ago, people went 4,000 miles and had the same culture. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, it's true in a certain given area. Once again, this is also what I would say. It doesn't mean that they were totally taking over everything they went. People also share ideas without war, without, So, in fact, we do that. That's the best of us is when we share it without war. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, so everybody, you should also check out Corey and what he's doing. He's doing amazing stuff, of course. So go ahead and tell us what you're doing.
I've got interviews and book reviews on the Skeptical Leftist YouTube channel and podcast. And I've got my partner and I do the Feminist Family as our podcast and YouTube channel as well. And yeah, that's basically what I do.
Right on. Well, everyone should go and check his stuff out and give it likes and comments. And
yes, lots of likes and comments.
Right, support you on Patreon because
Yep,
Corey, is producing valuable stuff and needs your support.
I always appreciate more people like supporting on Patreon. It's it makes the time I put into it worthwhile.
Exactly.
So.
And I appreciate you spending time, and I appreciate anybody watching, and I hope you also check out the blog so you can understand even more.
For sure.
All right, take care.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion.